Well, he made quick work of him that time.
What was the difference on that one between the other ones?
That's speed, boy.
That is my favorite clip of all time.
Buying or selling, CJ Kirst starts at attack next week.
I don't see it.
Welcome back to the Mitchell Pehlke Lacrosse Show live on TLN, sponsored by Duke Cannon. We are getting it going for episode 26. We're here with the crew. Biggest takeaways. I'm actually going to start this one. Are the Outlaws the best team in the PLL? I think yes. Kev, give us the fun facts on why the Outlaws are the best team, because I feel like we agree with this one.
Dog, it's all coming together for them right now. Like, all four Thornton winners clicking. Brennan O'Neill scoring between the legs.
Jesus. SC
behind the
top 10.
backs. I know. It's just crazy, man. The whole team looks like they're just hitting their groove. 18 goals this weekend in a shootout, maybe the game of the year so far against the Cannons. And a big statement win for them. They're definitely the best team in the West. I'll give you that, Mitch, but I don't know if they're the best team overall. The Atlas are up there as well.
Yeah, the Atlas are up there. I think it's the time and time again conversation we have, the Atlas with the star power. Can they put it together? Can they not? Obviously, Teat here and there. Shelley's been playing great. Dukes, for you, Outlaws, best team in the league or just the West?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm going to put them as the best team in the league right now, to be honest. Right now, as it stands, after week 8, they're the best team. Now, am I allowed to change my opinion? Yes, Mitch. I'm allowed to do whatever the hell I want.
I like
that. That's what it's like being the life of Dukes. But, I mean, if you're telling me they're the number one contender to win it all, I don't even know if I'd go there. But as it stands right now, how can you say anything else other than this is the best team in the league? Especially when you consider, after they added McNaney and Jared Bernhardt, what they've looked like. This version of them, they've done nothing but win. So right now, as it stands, the Denver Outlaws are the best team in the PLL.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way you can't say, I think, at this point that the Outlaws are the best team in the PLL. I think it's pretty clear at this point. I think we have a gap where it's the Atlas and the Outlaws, and then there's the next a level underneath with Philly and whoever you kind of want to throw in there, Boston and so on and so forth. I mean, the Outlaws, to me, they look like one of the best PLL teams I've seen in recent memory. And, you know, ever since they got Logan and Jared, this team's just been clicking on a level that we haven't seen in a while, especially offensively. I'm not sure what the exact numbers are, but they are huge in the pluses since during that 5-game stretch of those guys playing. And, you know, I find it hard to believe they don't drop a game the rest of the way because this is the PLL. But I could see a way, you know, the way they're playing, I legitimately could see them running the table in the regular season with only 3 games left to play, like ending the season, you know, at that 8-2 mark. I just think, you know, they're so balanced all over the field. McNaney's been awesome in net. Weirman, scrappy at the face-off X. The defense is locked down. Mike Manley and JT Giles-Harris. And then that offense is like backyard lacrosse. I mean, I swear if they're like first-half goals, I think half of them were like BTBs or through the legs. I mean, everyone's getting in on the action. It's a fun offense to watch.
O'Neill's goal was best of the league, best of the season so far. I mean, it's our Duke Cannon work harder, smell better moment of the week. I mean, when I first saw that, the one-handed catch, the spin, he didn't even really need to spin. Put it between his leg backwards. Like, we haven't seen anything like that this season. Is that potentially one of the best goals in PLL history?
Dude, that is
now
absurd.
That's a statement I can agree with.
Yeah,
I don't know, Kev. Let's go back to what Hoagie said, saying one of the best PLL teams. Do you think this is one of the best PLL teams of all time?
Look, I don't think that they're quite clicking on the level that the Atlas were last year at this time, who also finished 8-2. Or I'm sorry, they were 7-3. But there have been other 8-2 teams
last week.
The Archers were 8-2. I'm pretty sure in 2023. I think the Whips 9-1 in 2022. So we've seen teams that have ripped through the regular season and looked that good from the get-go. Like, the Outlaws didn't look good the first couple of weeks. It wasn't until
Chaos
they put
19.
McNaney in.
Chaos 19, what was their record? They were the number 1 seed going to the playoffs.
They were 7-3. And then I know bubble year, but Whipsnakes were the only ever undefeated team. They went 6-0.
That was the best. That was the best PL team, I think, in my opinion, was that 2020.
I mean, that
Whips team was great.
Can we talk about that? Like, that's going to be something in 20 years. They're like, oh, the Whips team in 2020, like, it's kind of like the bubble
I'm telling you this.
They were so good.
I'm telling you this. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Those guys, I think that the COVID thing like leveled up every single player, because not only like were everyone like half-assing their real jobs, but everyone was locked in the gym. You could do nothing at home. You're hitting the wall.
Yes.
Like you had stick in your hand every single day, probably twice as much as you would during like a normal off season because you had nothing else to do. These guys came in the best shapes of their life. You got Michael Earhart. We had Jules Henningberg the other week saying that Tyler Warner, best short stick midi of all time. Michael Earhart's the best long stick midi in my opinion. And then you got Joe Nardella, who the only person who won face-off of the year over Trevor Baptiste was that year. Kyle Bernlohr, I think, was also goalie of the year, or coming was in that mix for top 2 goalies at the time. I mean, the whips were absolutely loaded.
Prime Matt Rambo, that team was loaded.
Zed Williams MVP,
Zed Williams
right off
too. That was I think he won MVP that year, didn't he? He won MVP of the bubble.
Yeah,
he did.
Yes, which is unreal. But yeah, when you're talking about best goals of all time in the PLL, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to even think.
It's
about
amazing
what
how
might get
casual
close.
Brennan does it too. And he even had that BTB in the first quarter where he's like kind of running vertically across the field and just threw a BTB. Like it comes off like so easy to him. It's like it's honestly like not fair how he just pulls stuff like that off. It's absurd.
A little TLN inside baseball. Brennan O'Neill has to lead all lacrosse players in doing something sick that TLN posts, and then 5 minutes later does something even more sick that ruins the original post.
Yeah, like you post
I
the
can't tell you how many
BTB.
times Brennan O'Neill has done that. Or it's like, oh my gosh, Brennan O'Neill, BTB, drop everything, make the post. Oh wait, 10 minutes later, he went through the legs and the BTB isn't even impressive anymore.
Behind the back.
But I think
the
it's
most
up there for best goal this year. I don't think it tops Connor Fields' goal last year.
That was absurd.
Yeah, that was sick. The jumping, the one-handed, and he
absurd.
placed
Jumping
it top
on the
corner,
run,
too.
on Matt Dunn, on the goalie or the defensive player of the year, and sticks it in the top corner.
But I think what's interesting about that is Pehlke even says on the broadcast, if 𝐓𝐇𝐄 doesn't throw him the outside pass and he catches it normal, he probably finishes it normal. Yeah, it honestly kind of comes from the mistake 𝐓𝐇𝐄 made. He catches it out here and he's like, what do I do with it? So let's just turn around and go between the legs. Like, insane play. Duke Cannon, work harder, smell better. Moment of the week. Hoagie, for you, biggest takeaway from this past weekend?
Yeah, for me, I think you got to look at the Boston Cannons, right? I think they're at a crossroads at this point in the season. I think this is a big gut check week, right? Like, started off 3-1 at the start of the year. I think the consensus was they were probably the best team in the league up until the All-Star break. They've now lost 3 straight games. They have a bye week next week, so they're not playing in Salt Lake City this weekend. So, essentially, they have 2 weeks until their next game, and to me, it's a crossroads. This is time for Coach Holman to really figure out, how do we get this ship back in the right direction, right? Like, the way I look at it is, this team has been trying to win a championship now for a couple of years. They've won 2 Champ Series championships, but they haven't been able to get it done in the summer. They have an aging roster to a degree, right? Like, you don't know how many more runs you're going to get with this squad, with who they have, with guys like Marcus Holman and them. You don't know how many more runs you really have in it. So to me, they've been building the championship, and if I'm looking at it right now, to me, you have the question mark with their star players, right? And I think whenever you lose in the sport and whenever you are on a losing streak, everyone's always going to blame someone, or everyone's always going to blame something or bring up something. And obviously this weekend it's the Pat Cavanaugh trade, right? They're going to say Pat Cavanaugh's an MVP in this league. He's playing amazing. You shouldn't have traded him. You were stupid for trading him. Bad trade, et cetera, et cetera. But to me, like, when I look at it, I think the 2 main points they need to figure out is they have to get their lineup solidified. They've had the shuffling with Manny in and out. Coulter Mackesy didn't play this weekend. Jules comes in. They have to get that short away. And then they need to be better in the cage. Colin Kirst has got to be better in the net. He's, we had a discussion a couple weeks ago about him being, in that upper echelon, top 4 or 5 goalie in the league. And, over the last, 2 games, he's 42%, 37%. He's allowed 4 2-pointers in the last 2 games, which last season he was the best goalie in the league statistically against the 2-point shot. So he's been giving up shots from deep. They need better goalie play out of him, and they really got to get this lineup solidified. To me, I'm not too worried. I think Asher Nolting, for everyone out there who wants to, talk about this and that, Asher Nolting this season is tied for first in the league in assists at 19. He's got 23 points this year so far in the year. Through 7 games, 23 points, 4 goals, 19 assists. Last year, through 7 games, he had 26 points, 6 goals, 20 assists. So 3 less points, and he was an MVP finalist last year. So for everyone out there online who wants to, talk about Asher's play, he's been great. That one-handed lever pass that he made was unbelievable last week. I think, to me, it's about the Cannons getting their lineup right. They need to be better in net, and they just need to be cleaner. When I look at the last 3 weeks, the Chaos game, I think they took them lightly. The Chaos will clip you if you don't play well, and then they played the best 2 teams in the league last 2 weeks. That's how I feel about it, but they need to get it fixed.
Let's hear it,
I'm not completely against what Hoagie said. I do think that Asher's getting way too much hate. If you see me the online discourse, I'm like making fun of the little kids that are calling him washed, fat, slow, can't move,
criminal,
tubby,
criminal,
chubby wubby,
squid.
What are some other
frog
names?
like?
Keep going.
That meme of the guy on TV just flubbing up. No, but I think with you can tell a difference and I know the points speak for themselves, but there is a difference with this offense right now. And they did put up 17, and I do want to call that, like, the panic meter for the Cannons, I think, is a little bit overblown. I think Colin Kirst had a couple that he'd like back that I think are very un-Kirsty-like, and I don't really see this sustaining, like, this play that he's at right now, because it's not top 2 in the world or top 3 in the world, which we're used to seeing. But the ball is just not spinning like it used to, right? Like the past 2 seasons, I think that we really saw the Cannons, Asher drawing the slides, kind of starting that offensive motion. People aren't really sliding to him this year because he's not turning into, I'm going to go to the goal and score. He's not a threat to score. He's a threat to pass. And, I kind of used to make fun of the people with Lyle Thompson when they talked about his assists, right? But I was like, the ball's stuck in his stick. The ball's not whipping around. Like, just because you have an assist does not mean equal like good pass or good ball movement, and you just don't see the good ball movement this year with the Cannons.
I agree. Look, Asher, I still think is the best passer in the league. As you mentioned, tied for the lead for assists. He's also, I think, number 1 in the league in terms of percent of his touches that lead to an assist. However, he also leads the league in percent of his touches that lead to a turnover for guys with at least 200 touches. And he's not scoring the ball. He's not a threat to score. And that's, I think, what we're seeing is the issue here is not so much Asher Nolting. Asher Nolting, in a vacuum, is producing, and the stats look good.
Yes.
But, Doogs, you mentioned that Cannons offense from a few years ago where we'd see Lyle Thompson, and he had the numbers, and he would have the highlight plays, but they would lose every week. Yes. And I think that really has more to do with what you mentioned with the ball movement and offensive styles. And the Cannons are a heliocentric offense in the terms of he's the guy. He's their number 1 guy. He's got to draw the slide. He's their generator versus like a 2 quarterback or multiple quarterback offense or a ball movement offense that just feels less dependent on one guy being able to beat his man and either score or find the open man. Right now, Asher can only do half of those things. He can find the open man, but he's not scoring, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, too, with 4 goals on the year, and I think people see, like you said, he's not as much of a threat scoring the ball. He looks like a feeder-first type of guy. Obviously, we know Asher's game is not like Sowers. He's not going to blow by you. He's not going to shift you. He kind of posts you up like almost in a basketball way and tries to look to feed. Like, he's not as much of a threat trying to score the ball right now, and he needs to, I think, take a little more initiative to get that, if that makes sense, Mitch. Like, we need to find ways to – I think teams notice this, too. Teams feel a lot how he plays sometimes. I feel like he kind of comes from X and comes around up the hash, and he kind of gets into you a little bit.
He wants to draw He wants to draw the slide, and he's always looking for for the cut.
To make the assist.
It's just nobody's sliding to him. Nobody's sliding to him anymore.
Hoagie and I talked about this off camera. My biggest thing, and especially it came at the end of the game, obviously, the pass. The pass he makes, Bernhardt's there, sticks in the lane. As a vet in the league now, and I think he even said it on week 1 when we were in Albany, he's essentially a vet now with his team kind of being potentially on the younger side of him. You can't make that the mistake. Teams on the line, games on the line, and you're trying to throw across crease in an atmosphere like that. Bernhardt, he's coaching every great defender in the books at Maryland, and you go make that play. Like, that's where I'm like, damn, like, that's not what you want out of your star player. But then you look at Hoagie's facts, and you're like, he's what would you say, leading assists or close to leading assists?
He's number 1 in the league in assists right now.
That's what people don't talk about.
Guess how many points he's behind Pat Cav, by the way. Pat Cav has 28 points. Asher has 23. So only 5 more points. You probably wouldn't expect that just
crazy.
Based on what you've watched and saw, right, Mitch?
And Pat Cav has 120 more touches than Asher does.
Right.
So you can just tell the Outlaws offense is moving faster. The ball is moving.
Right. Exactly.
Where it's
Exactly.
Yes. And so there's just not as many touches to go around on the Cannons. So every touch matters a little bit more for the Cannons offense.
Now sorry. I was going to say.
I just want to say one thing. We're bashing Asher and we're bashing the offense a little bit here. They put up 17 points against the Outlaws, which no one has really done since McNaney came in. So got to give them some credit there.
And going 100%. Off that, there's it's not like an Asher problem. I think that he's trying to play like hero ball a little bit because of the surrounding help that he's getting. Like, it's not just on him. The turnovers are an issue. It's almost like year one Asher or like college Asher when Asher was at high point. He was just trying to do too much. Sometimes trying to throw some passes that weren't necessarily there. And that was his biggest problem coming into the pros, was his turnover problem. He kind of he fixed that for the most part of the past couple seasons. You know, top 3 in MVP the last 2 years. Kev, you touched on it. One of the best passers in the PLL. You say number one. I really want to say one of my biggest takeaways from this weekend, and I have a couple, but one of them was how important specialists are in this league. And I think it's really underrated. Like, having an elite goalie or an elite faceoff guy, having one or the other will win you games, take you on runs. Having two will solidify you there. I mean, 𝐓𝐄 is not elite. I mean, I'm not breaking news here. He's not elite. And when you're talking about touches, it's like they're not giving the Cannons enough possessions to really get like you're seeing Weirman step up. He's not even at the elite category. But you're talking about 𝐓𝐄 at least can stay on the field. But I'm not trying to shit on him too hard. But he's a bottom face-off guy in the league.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to put it.
But it's true because look at the top 2 teams.
Still top 8 in the world.
Look at the top 2 teams in the league right now. The number 1 seed in the East, the Atlas. Number 1 seed in the West, the Outlaws. I think when we talk about both of them, what do we talk about? Electric offenses, stars on offense, a lot of goals. But look at their specialty units. Trevor Baptiste and Liam Entenmann as a pair there. And then for the Outlaws, McNaney and Weirman. Those are 2 of the best pairs in the league in terms of face-off goalie combo to complement that offensive output that both of those teams have, right? So, yeah, when I look at the specialty position, 𝐓𝐄 needs to step up. I feel like sometimes he kind of just goes out there headless horseman style and kind of just starts hacking away and gets a little kind of over himself, a little ahead of himself sometimes. You know, we saw that play out in Philly when he just headbutted Sowers on that pick. He just, so. But yeah, you underrate how big a face-off guy is. And, obviously I'm a face-off guy, so I'm always going to pull for the face-off guys. But to me, the goalie is just such a big play in this league. And you can see the difference. Kirst has not been at his best. That's just the facts. You look at the numbers. He hasn't had a great game over this 3-game losing streak for Boston, right? And now they find themselves currently out of the playoffs, which is crazy. They wouldn't be in the Champ Series either, so they wouldn't be able to even defend their back-to-back Champ Series championship. They wouldn't even have a chance to go for a championship outside in the summer right now with where the playoffs currently lie. I mean, the playoffs are week by week, so you can't, there's so much lacrosse left to be played. It is crazy right now that where we stand with 3 weeks left in the season, that the Cannons are not in the playoffs as of today.
Natural segue too, right here. Natural segue. Can I do it?
Do
it. If we're talking about specialists, can we just talk about the Atlas Redwoods game really quick?
Yes.
Very fast, because when you talk about specialists and how important specialists are, TD goes out, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they just couldn't win a face-off in the second half. And you don't know how that game really goes down. It's not like the Atlas completely ran away with it. They just dominated possessions. And you gave this ferocious offense with 2 MVP caliber players and 2 MVP caliber attackmen the ball constantly, consistently. And you're wearing out your best player, midfielder, in Andrew McAdoy at the face-off deck. So, again, that's another strategy to address 2 face-off guys. Should the PLL allow 2 goalies and 2 face-off guys so this situation doesn't happen again? And one of the other biggest takeaways for me is Mitch's roommate, Chase Erlin. Mitch, you can mute this. You should mute this. I think they got to make a change. They got to make a change.
So?
And I think he might be the best goalie on the roster, but at some point, you got to change it up at this point. It's nothing against Chase. I think he's good enough to start in the league. I think he's good enough to earn another tryout next year. But when you're saying where the season's heading, and you don't probably have an elite goalie on your roster, you got to try to change something up, just for the vibes. And I'm not saying it's for the talent or anything that Chase is doing compared to Note, but I probably just said an accent that did not deserve an accent.
It made him sound fancy.
You're saying,
I did this year one with Costable, but you just gotta change it up for vibes.
Doogs, it's like what you're saying in the NFL.
You kind of have to change up for vibes.
It's like what you're saying in the NFL, Doogs. Week 13, season's not going well. You make a quarterback change.
Right, and it might not be the quarterback's fault, but it's just like a locker room change of the vibe, being like, all right, now we go.
Yeah, so just explain that to him.
Mitch, you should break the news to him. Imagine Mitch on a vlog style camera was like, Hey, the PLL asked me to record this for you. Like,
Hey,
you're sitting this week.
Quick video. We'll make a quick video.
Well, just to circle back to the Joe Spallina interview we had before the draft, he told us that goalie was a position he was looking at. They ended up with Matt Note, but he was an undrafted guy. So that tells me they maybe had their eye on a guy, and either McNaney or Carroll didn't fall to where were comfortable picking him. But that also tells me going into the season, you weren't like sold that your goalie position is set. But I don't think he's the reason why they lost, though.
This isn't biased, though. We chatted about this in the pre-show call. I'll make a statement. Chase Erlin is the starting goalie next year for the Redwoods. I'm going to put it out there.
What pick did
Maybe I have some
McNaney
inside
go, by
scoop,
the way?
maybe I
What
don't,
number?
but
Do you
I
know?
can stamp it. Core,
Do we know what number he went?
I think he was.
I mean, you got to eat dinner with the cat.
No, I'm just saying. Look, when Pehlke's got a feeling, with the Italian horns jingling,
Dude, you know what this guy's poop smells like. This guy takes a dump.
Because I'm saying, could the
Redwoods?
Could the Redwoods realistically have taken McAdory at 2, Chris Cav at 3, and then at 10 taken Logan McNaney? That would have been a haul.
They could have.
and a
McNaney
half.
went the next pick. McNaney went 11 right after Chris.
Yeah,
Cav.
so essentially
it came down to Chris Cav or McNaney.
Guys,
Yeah. Or they could have taken Chris Cav instead of
guy
English
can't even
as
say
well.
that they took the
That's
wrong
another.
move.
That's a topic for another
You're
day.
questioning Joe Spallina now.
No, I'm not. I would never.
No, it's coming. The Italian.
Guys, he's Italian. He did it with Raves. He's done it with Stony Brook. He's basically a part-time coach at CUSE.
He looked great. He looked great on Pres Row, Mitch. He had that soprano-style slick back hair.
Did you just sell him out for being like overstepping as like a parent coach?
No, but I mean, the guy knows ball. You can't tell me that he's not. I mean, I have no idea if he's helping out at Syracuse or not, but like to have Joey as a dad, as Joe as a dad like that for Joey and a coach, like, come on.
Yeah, dude. It
Like,
worked out for
making
Nolan.
stuff happen. But I think the biggest thing is, Corey, stamp this. Chase will be the goalie for the Redwoods next year. Kev, biggest takeaway from this weekend.
Well, I'm going to flip it back to the Cannons game a little bit, but also mention the Chaos game a little bit. But I'm thinking, looking back, and hindsight is 20/20, I understand, but
Always is.
I think the 𝐓𝐇𝐄 pick should have been Owen Hiltz. Like,
Said that from
we
day one.
all knew the Cannons wanted a left-handed attackman. It was the worst kept secret in the PLL. And me, like many others, were totally in on it being 𝐓𝐇𝐄. I mean, he was a Tewaaraton finalist, great player at Princeton. Nothing against him in the PLL, but we're just seeing the Cannons are clearly a team that's in a win-now mode. That's why we talk about Asher and why we talk about the offense and Marcus Holman and Will Manny, Brian Holman. And I think in 𝐓𝐇𝐄, they got a project. When you look at Owen Hiltz, is literally carrying his team right now. 7 points this weekend in a loss to the Archers, 5 goals, 2 assists. He's got 15 points in his last 3 games. And if you look at his percentages of touches that result in either a goal or an assist, it's like 15%, which is higher than Michael Sowers. It's higher than anyone in the league with at least 100 touches. So he's extremely efficient. And I don't know where some of this came from. Like, when you're looking at him getting the switch, drawing Bo Pettersson, who's one of the best short stick defensive middies in the league, and then takes him to the rack multiple times. Piper Bond, same thing. Like, where was that at Syracuse? I don't really remember him being able to, like, when he got that short stick matchup, he could just dominate, dodge, and score. The right-handed goal that he had, one-handed, dodging down the wrong alley and rolling back, kind of, like, I don't even think I've ever even seen him on that spot on the field before at Syracuse. So I'm wondering, where was this Owen Hiltz at Syracuse? Was it an Owen Hiltz thing? Was it a Syracuse coaching thing? But I see Owen Hiltz and the way he's dominating in year 1 with Carolina. I go, where was he? Where was this guy at Syracuse? How did they not win more games?
I agree, Mitch.
Could
you ask the player coach?
That's the
Could you
same
ask,
thing I was
Spallina?
asking on the field with Brennan O'Neill, how Duke didn't win a national championship.
Is it a player's thing or is it a coach's thing, Hoagie?
With what?
CUSE.
Hiltz.
Honestly, I think it's just sometimes when the guys come into the league, you feel like when you're not in the college mindset, Mitch, it's a little more laid back. I feel like just thinking about, sometimes you're in college, like your coaches have a certain way or you play a certain way, you practice every day. There's certain habits that you can and can't do. And I think you come into the league and the coaches are a little more of, whatever you can do to get it done, whatever gets the ball back in the net, whatever you do to win, like, I'm all for it. I feel like there's a lot more free stuff. Just like you don't see as much of these crazy shots in college as you do in the pros, right? Like, I think the guys just play a little more loose and a little more free. I think college is just a little more buttoned up. That's kind of where I feel about
I'm a big believer in the aspect of freshmen, when they get to college or the pros, always do best because no one knows how they really play. Obviously, there's so much tape on a guy like Owen Hiltz from what he was like at CUSE, but I feel like when they get to their first year in the league or even high school going to freshman, that freshman year, sometimes these guys can have blowout years because no one really knows what to expect. The scout isn't confirmed on these guys, what they're great at and what they're not. And for Hiltz, that could be the same situation, but he's obviously playing sick this year.
I do agree with their overall point. Not for Hiltz because I think he's talked about enough in college that people know him. I do think he's playing a little bit more free, which I agree with. Yep. I do think the scout, though, you're totally right. There are some people in this league, that are rookies that get figured out quickly by year 2. As far as Hiltz, I thought that the Cannon should have taken him at number 4, and I love 𝐓𝐇𝐄 𝐋𝐀𝐂𝐑𝐎𝐒. I love his game. He's stringing my stick, actually. I'm sending it out.
Wow.
To the doctor. Stay tuned.
Getting we'll play. Yeah, let's get to the Lax Unlimited again. I got this for the Christmas special.
We'll see.
You get on team. That would have been nice for Team Frog. Yeah, Team Frog.
Oh, dude, it's my dad's.
Doogs going MIA for Team Frog this weekend.
You know what's kind of crazy? Actually, I never even sent Kev the invite. Kev, do you want to play with us?
Kev, you want to play?
Oh, I thought I wasn't a creator or something. I don't know. When is it? This weekend?
Play. It's this weekend at the Jersey Shore.
I would have. I can't play this weekend, but no, I would have. If you were actually friends with me, you're giving me crap about not picking you to be on the island with you. You don't even think of me for your creator team.
Start bench cut. I'm cut off an island. Kai the Goalie podcast sub to him. It's criminal.
It's completely imaginary, though. I got cut in real life, worse than cut, not even considered for the celebrity all-star Mitchell Pehlke.
In his own state of New Jersey at War at the Shore, Kev, in your own home state.
Kevin, if I asked you, would you have played, yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
What position?
Attack. X-attack. I'm starting.
Oh, my God. Okay, I feel bad for that because I didn't think you would play 1%. But I will get you on the team next year. You can hear her to hear first. You can take Dukes' spot.
Training starting tomorrow. Dude, if broken ankle in 11 months.
I dare you not to pick me next year. I'll start a rival team and I'll play in the C division and I'll wipe your ass.
Mitch, are we playing Nestler's team? Are we playing Nestler's team?
The rival team.
Are we playing Nestler's team?
I want you and Nestler on the.
We need a crack at Nestler's team.
Let's get a 1v1 Mitch versus. Goalie
Mitch
challenge.
I would take
Mitch versus Nestler 1-on-1. Doogs, you and Cage. Yes.
Yes. I'll help
Doogs already knows what that feels like. It's criminal.
Oh yeah, because Mitch is going to just do twisters all day.
Corey, pop up the footage right now. Me going 10 for 10 on Dukes. He had a sideways helmet on. They got ran over by a car. Garden City helmet from 1960.
Mitch literally did twisters from 6 yards out just repeatedly. I was like, I can't stop it after one. I was like, I don't know.
The footage is on the screen right now. The fans can see you lying.
Oh, yeah, but I hopped in cage against a real man like Jared Newman, who you could not shoot faster than. Won that one. Pop that up, Corey. Pop that up, Corey. Me saving Jared Newman's shot.
If the Chaos make it to the Final Four, we will be doing this the day before.
And just so we know, if Mitch doesn't do it, he's doing a shoey as punishment and donating.
Yes, by the championship. Yep, and the date.
75-day hard.
And we have the Bill Tierney bet. You still haven't gotten Bill Tierney to hit the frog. This guy hasn't even eaten the wings.
Dude, oh, yeah, you haven't eaten the wings.
Corey, we need a tracker of bets that have not been fulfilled.
Come on, yeah. Wait, going back to the Owen Hiltz thing, though, really quick.
Quick pivot.
Going back to my point about Owen Hiltz. Kev, you bring up a point about, and I do think it's a little bit, I thought the Cannons made sense for Hiltz because of his IQ. About how many different variations he can play within an offense. He can probably be your number one. I mean, it's proven now. I think I was proven wrong. I didn't get the chaos pick because he can't be your best player on offense. Clearly he can at this point, but he can play off ball. I think he was the smartest player probably in the draft. So I thought it made sense for the Cannons. Now I'm not going to fault the 𝐓𝐇𝐄 pick, right? I think it does make sense on paper, and it's too early to tell. But what it really boils down to for me, where I'm like, I got to pause and just wait, is Owen Hiltz is also getting the opportunity on a roster like this to kind of be the guy. Now, if 𝐓𝐇𝐄 was on this team, I'm not going to say that he couldn't be doing the same exact thing or putting up these ridiculous numbers. And we're saying, how did 𝐓𝐇𝐄 fall this far? Like the Cannons made the biggest mistake. We all thought that they should have taken him at 4. So I'm a little bit hesitant. Just given the circumstances that Owen Hiltz has, he has nothing to lose. He can do whatever he wants because he is the guy. He is the number 1 draft pick for this new regime, and it has no stars on offense.
I just thought neither one of them would be an elite Dodger. And again, we're talking about dodging short stick matchups, but Owen Hiltz has proven he can win those. I don't know if we've seen McAfee do that. I think if we're talking about
if you
going
talk about
back
my
to the Cannons,
if you talk about my stringer,
he's
like
listening to
that
this
one
right
more
now,
time,
and he's like stringing your stick, like a little tighter. No,
Put a little whip for Mitch to shoot against Newman, hooking the shooters.
Doogs, though, I think that if the ball movement for the Cannons was whipping around like we've seen in the past, McAfee would look a lot better. If he was just a finisher on the left side.
Okay. Kev, that's exactly one of my talking points as well. It's like these open shots as you're used to seeing, like Marcus Holman just being wide open. Something's missing. They got to run it through Drenner, I think, a little bit more.
I agree.
And almost like Campbell's like by far their best player this year, by far. And it's almost like, I don't know. It's more of a question. Like, are they almost running it too much through top? Like, or is that like the only thing they got going?
That's
like,
I think that's the only thing they got going at this point.
Right, that's what I think.
That's
too.
all they have.
It's like it was one of those questions that popped into my head that I haven't given it too much thought or looked into too much.
I feel like I've never seen. I won't say never, but I feel like if someone on that Cannons midfield is inverting, it's Drenner. Like, I don't know, can Campbell invert? I have no idea. I would love to see it.
You're not having Kirst invert.
Is he the best midfielder in the league?
Campbell, he leads in points at least for midfielders right now.
Is he the best midfielder in the league? Who's the best midfielder in the league?
For midfielder.
Yeah.
I think that McAdory is in the conversation, maybe even Trainer, like it's rookies, but I think Campbell is probably the most dynamic.
I think Campbell, I'd take Campbell too because of his 2-point ability. I think his ability to stretch the field compared to those other two mentioned.
People talk about it, and I saw this discourse before the year about how rookies in the PLL, like every lacrosse player has their best season as a rookie because they come in from college programs, blah, blah, blah. No, that's very rarely true. Very rarely true. Like, there's guys that like don't
literally
take
what Mitch just said.
No, but like it's like no. He said he was saying like they could pop off like a guy like
Gotcha.
who's the guy from Georgetown a couple years ago in the Chaos, the quick guy.
Minikis.
Brian Minikis?
Like, like not like figured out completely. The guy had wheels, but like by year 2, these twitchy guys like they don't work out as much or like you don't have speed. Campbell has gotten bigger and bigger, every single year. And he's ginormous. Like, he's clearly a guy that cares about the sport and cares about like his performance on the field. So I don't know. It's one of those guys that I think is just going to level up for the next like 4 or 5 years.
But like a weird thing about him, to be honest, and I don't know if it's like being a Villanova guy or what it is, but like I remember at Champ Series, there was a lot of talk about like Brian Holman saying like we have to get Matt Campbell to like believe in himself and like understand that he's dominant and like the best player on the field. And like I think that's why when you talk about Matt Campbell, you're like, oh, he has the most points. Is he the best midfielder in the league? He doesn't necessarily carry himself with the confidence of the best player on the field. Like, it's not like, oh, Matt Campbell has the ball, everyone watch. Like, I don't know. I would like to see more of that from Matt Campbell because I think he does have the talent level. I just don't know if he sees himself as that good.
That's fair. That's funny you say that really quick. I started seeing that he walks with a different swagger on the weekends.
Since Champ Series?
Yeah, like I think he kind of knows.
Where'd you see it?
after the championship.
Where'd you see
around Champ Series? I'm literally answering your stupid question.
I'm saying, you like partying with him in New York City, or where'd you see it?
Dude, no. First off, this guy. If you didn't hear me, he's in the gym. Like, I just know like the way that he like carries himself on the field. Like, I think going back, he like was a little like timid, being like, not like like what's the syndrome? Imposter syndrome. I think he like kind of had that for the first couple of years in the league. Now he's kind of stepping up, being like, no, I am the best midfielder.
Gotcha.
Like, you can tell the way after he like celebrates, like his body language kind of like speaks that to me. Also, he might be see more of it. Dude, I haven't changed, but like it's maybe just now in my head after Champ Series.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, you wouldn't know, Mitch. You never come to the weekends. We wish you were there, brother.
Hey,
lie to the fans. There's fans waiting outside Rafferty Stadium for Mitch.
Runs a marathon.
Dude, there were literally fans.
I actually had a kid
Stadium.
come up to me. And
yeah,
he's like,
where's
Mitch?
Mitch said
I had a kid
coming
come up to me and he was like, is Mitch here this weekend? I'm like, no, he's got camp. And they were like, he said on the podcast that he was going to be here.
You had kids drive all the way from Long Island to come see you, and you bailed, and you didn't give them any warning.
I didn't even think
I was going to hop on.
You should have thrown on an Instagram story like, hey, couldn't make it.
Yeah, see, because he was trying to get by
was
with it. He was
Doogs
trying
there?
Yes, I was there.
You're capping.
Dude, I was outside of Rafferty Stadium, Colony Pizza in hand.
Mitch, you didn't see that video? Wait, Mitch, you didn't see that video of me and Doogs?
Kid in a frog just was like, where's Mitchell Pehlke?
Doogs and I had a couple light beers at Colony Grill with Liam Murphy and Keegs after the game. You didn't see that photo?
Stop lying. Okay. Dukes, give us your biggest takeaway from the weekend.
My biggest takeaway of the weekend, the score differential. How important the score differential is. Just when you're looking at like week 1 games, Mitch, and we were like in Albany, and I was like, they should go for a 2 here, and you were kind of like, why? That's kind of dumb. It's because of the score differential. Like you're looking at right now, Carolina 1 game ahead of California, but Carolina's score differential is so much worse than California's that like if they get tied in the wins, California is gonna get the lead. Like California's whoa, timeout. Let me lock in. California's score differential is 9 better than Carolina's, and that could be the difference between making the playoffs and having the first pick. And then you look at this Eastern Conference race for the Champ Series and for the playoffs. You got Philly, Maryland, Boston. Maryland and Boston have the same record right now. Maryland's in because of +8. Boston's -6. Philly's +2. That 3-legged race in the East is going to be something to watch out for. That's what I'm keeping my eye on more than anything else in the league right now. And also my biggest takeaway is it's more than likely that 3 out of the 4 teams in the Champ Series are from the East.
Yeah.
Real quick, how weird is it that like if the season were to end today, the Cannons back-to-back Champ Series champs would be out
Crazy.
and the Whips would be in,
It's
the last
crazy.
team in, and the Whips have never won a 6-6 game. I think that's so
Yeah, I'm
Stags is
excited.
probably like,
I'm
"Damn
excited to talk about the Whips a little. Are we done talking about last weekend?
No, I mean,
Wait,
there's
no,
one
I
more
want to
point
talk a little
touch.
bit more about the score differential
Yeah.
thing. I want to get deeper into your mind here. Are you saying that you would maybe rather be the California Redwoods at 2 and
100%.
5 than the
100%.
Carolina Chaos, who have an extra win?
I agree with Doogs
because
on
you
this,
think
yeah.
it's easier to make up the win than all those points.
Yes.
Exactly.
100%.
Precisely, Kevin.
That's
you
very
just,
interesting.
You just articulated everything that I've ever wanted to say in my life. If I could if I could have said that word for word in my biggest takeaway from the weekend, it would have been that. And let's look at their schedule. Redwoods have the Archers. Chaos have the Water Dogs this weekend. Okay. Then next weekend, Carolina plays Denver. California gets Maryland, which I think is a very winnable game for California.
Yeah.
And then you got California Cannons, Chaos Archers. I mean, I think I'd rather be the Redwoods right now.
No, you would, because when you really look at the score differential and how big it is, like the Cannons essentially like can't keep pace. The Chaos essentially can't keep pace. They have to be above. So like they can't tie with the Redwoods. Like they need to stay a game up the whole time if they want to make the playoffs, so on and so forth. Like I was talking to Joe Nardella post game after they beat the Water Dogs, and the first thing he said to me was like, "Dude, we're right back in this thing." He was like, "Dude, because we just have to, as the Whip Snakes, if you look at there." Mitch, a couple episodes I talked about how they had such a great score differential. He was like, dude, we just have to keep pace. Like, we don't have to beat you. We just have to stay even with you, and we're going to jump you just because of the goal differential. So, yeah, you want to be that team. Even, it sounds crazy, but the Redwoods are sitting perfect where they are if they just take care of some of their business moving forward. They just need a win, and they need a Chaos to drop a game, and they're going to slide back in. It's crazy that the season for Carolina could end up being determined on that complete dud of a day at Homewood. Could have, in the end, when we look back on it, blew up their whole season.
100%.
And it's
100%.
crazy. The Whip Stakes are only up +6 after that shellacking against the Chaos. Didn't they win by 14?
Yeah.
They won 20-6. Yeah.
So I have an overall question. Mitch, a couple weekends ago, we gave him like I didn't really. I said I respected it. Put him number 2, the Whips, right, in his
Yes.
Pehlke Power rankings. And they got
Correct.
the big win against the Water Dogs this weekend. Now,
Yes.
I'm just asking before I dive in, what is your guys' overall thoughts on the Whip Snakes?
I
I think it's one of those teams you can't count them out.
I-
you can't count Stags.
I think
and
that
that's
they're-
all.
We got two teams. You got 2 teams you can't count out. You got the Chaos and you got the Whip Snakes.
My honest opinion.
What did they play each other?
Do I see them winning the championship? No. Could I see them making a semifinal or championship appearance? Yes, personally.
Okay.
I don't know if they have the offensive output week after week to really, and I still think there's a question mark in net with Emmett Carroll. Yeah, he's been solid, but I still don't know if I trust him to be a big game goalie week after week. It's just, I got to see more.
I'm not gonna lie. I still just cannot. And you are right. I won't fully ever buy out of the Whipsnakes given the goal differential.
You can't ever buy out.
I think they could definitely make the playoffs, but still just left unimpressed. And I know they came back and beat the Water Dogs, who I think is a very good team.
They're like the Maryland Terrapins. They have
yeah,
their own
Mitch,
style.
Mitch, it's different this year, Mitch. It's different. Their team's way different this year than last year. You can't compare it.
Yeah, they had a very good comeback against the Water Dogs, and I'll give them credit, of course, for that. The Water Dogs' offense was by far the worst offensive game of the year. I'm wondering if that was kind of because they're trying to plug in CJ Kirst, get him going, kind of ruin this offensive flow that they've had, which I have been concerned about since week 0. Since before
Let's
the
save
season
that
started.
for buy or sell. Let's save that for buy or sell.
But going back to the Whipstakes, that's one, and you had this comeback win, and now you also had that comeback win against the Atlas. So there's no fluky win in this league.
Yep.
But I'm just not completely sold on the Whipsnakes.
I mean, it was just as much, we talked about it before, collapse versus comeback. That was just as much a collapse as it was a comeback. I think that was a 10-7 game, and Maryland got 4 of their points on 3 power play goals. So at the end of the game.
DeLuca played pretty great, I thought. I mean,
I
didn't
know.
check the
He
numbers.
really only got scored on.
That game flipped when Kenny Brower got hurt. Kenny Brower got hurt, and the defense couldn't seem to figure it out. That was what happened to me. When Brower went down, the defense kind of started spiraling out of control. The offense, wasn't playing well. You had, the Whipsnakes, give them credit. They hustled. Jack McDonald got diving for end lines. I think Ajax had one too. They out-hustled them for sure.
Yeah.
So, to me, it was...
Timmy Muller.
Timmy
Muller, that speech was electric.
Garden City, neighbor, Grove Park.
Yeah.
He's the last one.
Mitch, he's calling a neighbor, not even his Garden City. He's calling a neighbor.
I taught Timmy Muller everything you need to know about competitiveness.
A neighbor. A neighbor is crazy.
Pong. Everything at Grove Park. Bounce ball.
Mitch,
he's like, dude, who's that? The Squid Online?
Dude,
that guy was my neighbor. Oh,
he literally went up to me in Fairfields because I was with him and his whole family. Check out his Instagram, and he was literally like, "You're still doing that? You're doing that lacrosse show with that vlogger?" I was like, "Nah, dude, he's a really nice guy. I mean, hell of an athlete too." Ohio State. He's like, "Ohio State."
The Ohio State. What do you got, Hoagie?
Mitch, what's your power rankings right now? What's your Pehlke power rankings?
Oh, let's hear it, Pehlke.
Give me your Pehlke power rankings.
Oh, he's gonna do it right. Dude,
what are the teams? What are the teams?
He can't name all 10 teams.
I don't have it right now.
Name 8 PLL teams.
I'll give you my power.
I'll give you my
You want me to give you my power rankings, Mitch? I'll give them to you.
I'll give you my power rankings right now. Shut up, Hoagie. First ones, I got the Outlaws. 2, I still got my Dogs, the Whipsnakes. 3, I got Atlas. 4, I got Water Dogs. 5, I got Cannons. Chaos, Redwoods. Bingo.
You missed the team, the Cannons.
No, he said Cannons.
Oh, did he? Where'd you have him?
Come on, you got to get this guy out of here.
Where'd you have him?
I know. See, that's what I'm saying. It's criminal.
5. Yeah, it's criminal, dude.
I think the thing that's going to be more fired up than me is going to be this voicemail we hear in a sec. Corey, hit it. Doogs.
Whips at 2.
Hey guys, Matt Nessler here, Cabrini class of 2020.
Jesus.
Just calling to say my biggest takeaway from the weekend, real simple, nice, quick, easy fix. If you get a challenge correct, you got to get that challenge back. Real simple. I think that's just a quick tweak they can make in the off season. Fine by me. They'll fix it, no problem. But that's my biggest takeaway. The Cannons would have been in a totally different position if they got that challenge back. But it was a great game. Games rocked this weekend. Listen, I'm a big fan of what you guys do over there. Shout out all the fellas over there. Hope everything's going well. And just wanted also you guys maybe could touch on Mitch signed his team up for Ward to Shore Men's League C Division. There's 3. The C Division, worst division. He signed his team up for it. Disgraceful. Him and Hoagie. All this Ohio State Big Bad Big Ten, they signed for the C Division. It's disgraceful. The Community Boys will be in the B Division. Mitch, get your head out of your ass. Bleep it if you need to, and get out of that C Division. Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Again, Matt Nessler here.
I didn't even know he said that. That's terrible. Look, we got guys that are creators playing all sorts of levels. We want to make it competitive and fun. I don't know what these guys are bringing to the table, okay? Hoagie's coming out of retirement. Pehlke's coming out of retirement. Doogs is faking it. Kev's got a wedding this weekend. Look,
I wasn't even good enough for the C division. That's crazy. Crazy.
I will say first off, I found out who Truman Southern is. One of those guys coming up.
Yes.
He's by far. When I say by far my favorite player on your team, by far. Like his content, I learned about it on Friday. It's unreal.
There's the 25-man roster for Team Hit the Frog. Where does Hoagie and Pehlke lie on that your favoritism roster?
I'll slide you guys comfortably at 4 or 5.
Okay, give us 2 and 3 right now.
Yeah.
Give us 2 and 3. Drip King and
is Drip King on it? Is Drip King on it? Oh my God, the battle between Hoagie and Drip King. I was like, Hoagie's probably at Face-Off Academy.
Bro,
for like
I haven't taken a face-off since
weeks. Being like, I could have started.
Last time I got a face-off stance was the MAC championship game in 2024. So Drip King's probably got me on the MCLA Natty.
He's got it.
Oh,
He's got
good.
it. All right, Kev.
Oh, wait, Rich. No, I'm pressing your buttons with this really quick. You're definitely if Nestler didn't say something, you were definitely gonna throw up like a video of you like absolutely dodging some kid, being like, "Oh, the Ohio State kid still got it." Absolutely dodging one. C division.
Still doing it.
I hope every single comment comes out of this is like C division.
Look, we got D1 players. We got D2. We got D3. A lot of club guys. We got high school guys. Look, at the end of the day, we're trying to have fun. And truthfully, I didn't put us in the division. I just said, let's get a team and let's get it going, okay?
No, I agree.
So I think at the end, also the B division, I think, is like wicked hard, I've heard. So I'm not going to put it out there. I'm just going to say it myself. But Kev, rulebook Kev, take away the challenges from Dr. Nesty.
All right, so we got one like little tiny correction. It's the same way the NFL works. You get 2 challenges, and if you get them both right, you get a third. I think where Nesty's getting a little mixed up here is he either forgets or wasn't sure. Holman lost his first challenge. He challenged Bernhardt in the crease, and to be honest, it looked like he probably was in the crease, but there wasn't conclusive evidence. There wasn't enough to overturn it. So they didn't overturn it, and he won his second challenge. Now, you could say, even if you lose the first challenge, if you win your next challenge, you should get it back in perpetuity. Like, it should just be 2 challenges until you get 2 wrong. You know what I mean? Yes. I feel like that makes a little more sense. But to be honest, if you're asking me personally, I hate all challenges. I hate all video replay. I thought it was a bit too much this weekend. Honestly, there was a play that what Nesty is talking about was later in the game. Jared Bernhardt very clearly stepped in the crease. Yes. It was missed in real time. They were out of challenges. For whatever reason, it wasn't a play that the officials could challenge or deemed worthy of challenging. And so it just counted as a goal, and life moved on. And the Outlaws won by 1 goal. And everyone went to bed that night and slept fine and woke up today, and the world kept turning, and we were able to live with it. I know there's really rare situations like the Garrett Ledman in the crease situation that was so bad and so egregious, but to be honest, what I feel like we got out of that, and I know we're talking college and PLL, but was 15 minutes a weekend of watching Matty Palin bend over and stare into a screen from 6 inches away and to come out and say what we all could see and understand in real time, usually. Okay. So, I don't know. I feel like it's a waste of time.
I'm going to go off your point really quick. One, it's very funny that Matt Palin finds himself in these situations all the time. It's unbelievably funny that every single game, and I'll never forget, in the 2023 All-Star game, he didn't call Garrett Ledman in the crease during the Final Four, but then he called like Xander Dixon in the crease during the All-Star skills competition. And I was like, what are you doing? Like 2 months ago, you refused to call the guy in the crease. And now during the skills competition from 40 yards away, you have no problem being like in the crease. And that's why I find him so funny. But I think he also gets way too much crap for like calls that aren't his. My takeaway is because they missed the in the goal violation, I don't think that they should review every single goal during the game. I think that would take way too much time. Unless you had a ref legitimately dedicated like Seth Tierney who's looking over right away and can be like, good for him, go. Point. I do think, without a doubt in the world, if they're not going to do every goal in the fourth quarter has got to be reviewed. It shouldn't come down to challenges. Like, that's when the most critical goals are happening. If it takes...
Kev, what do you think?
Most goals, Kev, most goals that happen, though...
the fourth quarter goals?
No.
Most goals that happen are not that reviewable. And also, Kev, I do want to say this, and I think you might agree with this. I do agree. You got to get Matt Palin away from the booth. Like, just have someone else. I'm saying like a dedicated ref.
You need to have somebody. Yeah, you need to have somebody working there who is able to make the call when on the easy ones. Like you can have Matty Pehlke look at the hard ones, but like
James Hogan. You need James Hogan looking at this play.
Because to me, when I when I look at it
show there.
from the replay booth, like I think there needs to be someone who like on blatant obvious calls like the Bernhardt in the crease, like we need to be able to buzz down and be like they showed that replay on the screen of Fairfield, not because it was under review, just they showed the goal replay and it was so obvious from the crowd that he was in the crease. Like we need to be able to like have someone buzz down and be like, all right, we're taking that off the board, kind of thing. Like
I think it's just a bad call and you live with it.
But I think too, like we need to also limit the amount of challenges. Like I think under 2 minutes, if you want to challenge something, you can challenge it. But like we can't. Like I love Stags, but like him challenging a shot clock reset a minute into the first quarter, like we cannot have that. Like that is just we got to play on.
Dagger.
You know what I mean? Like we can't challenge a shot clock reset, 2 minutes into the first quarter, and then have Matty P have to look at it for 10 minutes. Like we also need to have, I think, somebody like Duke said looking at the plays, so then Matty Pehlke doesn't have to look at the whole thing. Someone could be like, "Hey, Matty, he was in, no goal," and then Matty can just say, "Bam, good." You know what I mean? Like we need to keep it moving because
No, let me check it out. Let me get this.
I think a big thing too. Like Mitch, we got to think too for growing the game, right? Mitch,
he's like, I don't see it. I can't see it.
We got to think growing the game wise.
Dude, 2 hands on his knees, he's like this. I don't see it.
How about shout out? How about you guys see on Twitter?
No, Seth. Seth, I can't see it, Seth.
You guys see
God.
You guys see Leah Murphy's tweet on Twitter? It was like me at
Murphy's tweet,
McDonald's at 2 a.m. staring at the menu.
No.
His best
Leah
tweets.
Murphy's tweets on Twitter are the best. His memes never miss. They're so good.
The best moment from this weekend. Oh yeah, I don't even know if you saw this. I didn't see a meme for it actually. The Bill Tierney looking over.
And it was like the kids when they get back from Thanksgiving or whatever. Did you see that one?
Man, it's like right behind me, like it's Pehlke like this, and then it's just Bill Tierney like looking over.
And that's the other thing. After 5 minutes of Matt Pehlke looking at the screen, then he's got to do a minute of fighting with Bill Tierney, where it's just like Bill Tierney just undercuts his entire argument of his call.
Bottom line is we got to keep
bad calls.
Bottom line is we got to keep the game moving because especially we want to draw new fans in. We want to draw new viewers in. If I'm a new fan on ABC and I'm watching lacrosse for the first time and I've watching for 30 minutes and 15 of those 30 minutes are just Matty Pehlke staring into the iPad, like, I don't know. We got to keep them watching the game.
I'm addicted.
What's another bad call? You were speaking of bad calls.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a bad call. I didn't actually think it was that bad of a call at all.
How about Austin 𝐓𝐄?
Yeah, Austin 𝐓𝐄. That was a great moment on
That's
TV.
fucking bullshit.
Let me ask
That's the worst call I've ever seen.
Hold on. Do we think Austin 𝐓𝐄 has the best job/position in the entire league?
Him and Adam Gettleman
100%.
got to be tied.
Who was that old quarterback from the Bengals that just lived in his spot, that played for Alabama, was there for years? Backup quarterback.
I have no idea who you're talking
AJ
about.
McCarron.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Wasn't he
lie
like-
when I say this. I get the point of like where you're going with this. Probably the worst example in the history of examples of a backup quarterback being like somewhere for like Chase Daniels made like $120 million by playing 5 snaps in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got no idea who that is, so I don't know. Chase Daniels.
That was sick.
Good point.
What was Deuce? What was the bad call?
Yeah, what was the other bad call?
No, the Austin 𝐓𝐄 one. Like it wasn't. I didn't think it was a bad call, but it was a very funny moment. I thought it was kind of dangerous. I thought it was kind of dangerous, by the way. Like ESPN being like
Dana Boyle was in the heat of that thing. Yeah.
I thought it was like Clark was like ask him what he thinks, and she was like, what do you think about that call?
Yeah.
Clark goes, ask him how confident you are.
He has the iPad. He's like basically has an iPad and like a highlighter, being like.
He goes. I got it right here. It's clear as day. That's what he said. And then Clark goes,
funny.
He answered our question, Dana.
So funny. Also,
God, I like
I guess
that.
one of my biggest takeaways too, and then we'll move on. Dan Orlovsky was absolutely stellar in the booth.
Yes.
I met Dan this weekend. He was the nicest guy.
Legend.
Absolute legend.
Colony Grill?
Such a good dude. I went to Colony Grill, by the way. Clark doesn't like it. I thought it was banging. It was great.
Really?
I went with
That's thin, too?
It was that thin. I got the hot oil pizza. Me, my dad, and my brother. It was unbelievable. The vibes in there are fire too. I got a nice Diet Coke, Mitch.
I gotta get there.
A nice crisp Diet Coke, a lot of bubbles, and some pizza. Elite.
That's what it's all about.
I think that for Orlovsky, it's like I thought he did such a good job in the booth of like bridging the gap between someone that's watching their first game and like their 1,000th game. Like he asked the right questions, he made the right comparisons to the NFL, could speak at a high level about the type of athletes that were on the field for the PLL, and he just seemed like a real like student of the game and appreciated the creativity and the athleticism of all these players, and you could hear it in real time. I thought it was for. We listen to these same announcers, in the spring to the summer, all the way from February. So, like, hearing a new voice of, like, a new freshness, but, like, curiosity to the sport and in, a respectful way, I thought was very, very enjoyable.
I agree. And if you remember, I'm sure you do, Dukes, either last year or the year before, where they were like, with Orlovsky and Fairfield, they were like, all right, we got to get him on. And like, they made him do like NFL player comparisons. And I think he did like Stephon Diggs to Michael Sowers. Like, that was too much. That was like too much. Like, let's try to do this. This was so natural. And you can, as you say, you can tell he's actually a fan of the game. He's a lacrosse fan. Like, he knew the players on the Outlaws. He knew about them and stuff. Like, that was cool.
Talking about all of them and just like the type of like, and it was such a nice way, like being like, you got like 6 quarterbacks on the field that all have to make the right decision in an even faster time than some quarterbacks have to make. Like it was just he just did a fantastic job. And now I'm glazing. Someone told me on Twitter I was glazing. I wasn't. Now I'm glazing. I want to be on the record.
Let's keep the glazing going into the MVP talk.
Wow, great segue, Mitch.
Mitch, you're getting good at this stuff. You're getting good.
The Mitchell Pehlke Lacrosse Show.
All right, Dukes, can we get a drum roll, please, on your top 5 who the MVP should have been after Week 8?
We're asking people who the MVP should have been. Who should the MVP should have been? All right, we're asking people who the MVP should have been. Who should the MVP should have been?
Oh. What number are you starting with this week?
Number 5. Liam Entman. Back.
Liam's back.
In the ranking. Number 3. And still. Patty Cav. Nothing else needs to be said at this point. I mean, he hasn't done anything to jump anybody or fall below. He's right where he should be, very much in the mix to win MVP this year. Number 4. Brennan O'Neill. Welcome to the top 5 conversations.
Brennan.
I mean, he's really tearing it up. He's finding his own. I think that, if the Outlaws or Atlas get it done, it could be one of those guys. I mean, I think that 𝐓𝐇𝐄 has a little bit of fatigue, so spoiler alert, he's not on this. Number 1. Connor Schellenberger.
Wow,
MVP
Shelly took
runner.
over Sowers.
Jump Sowers just because of
Talk
team
to us.
success. Just because of team success at this point. And number 2, Michael Sowers. Look, Sowers didn't do anything wrong to lose the spot. More so, his team success has me feeling that right now it's Schellenberger's to lose. That's it. If Sowers was on the Atlas with his numbers, he'd be clear as day number 1. If he won last week, clear as day number 1. But the team success does matter in this award. And right now, the Atlas are the top team in the East. If Sowers has some more points, but right now they're locked up, same production. So I got to give this one to Schellenberger for the time being. He's playing like the best player in the world.
Wow.
And yeah, Shelly.
7 assists this weekend.
He had the goals in Chicago. He had the assists. He just can kill you so many different ways. And he wasn't forcing anything either. Like Castor was playing pretty good defense on him, and it wasn't like it was a quiet 7 assists. It wasn't like he was. You kind of looked up and you're like, oh my God, yeah, wow, geez, he's crushing it today. So the amount of different ways that the Atlas can beat you is so impressive, and it's scary because they still don't even have, in my opinion, their best midfielder.
Docs, when Docs comes back, that's gonna be.
I don't know how he'll look. I don't know how he'll look.
Richer.
I don't know how he'll look this year, but I mean, if it's anything close to the Docs of last year, I thought he was the 3rd best midfielder in the league last year.
Kevin Boiler. Did we want to chat? We haven't seen him on here in a bit.
Oh, what, we talking TJ Malone?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking? Look, I put my flag in the ground with TJ Malone before the All-Star break, and I got to stick with it. I definitely think that he's taken a step back, but he did have 5 points this weekend, 1 goal, 4 assists, against Michael Sowers head-to-head, got the win. I think Malone a little bit is kind of like the meme of the Lamborghini in the driveway of the trailer park house sometimes, and that's going to work against him. He's the opposite of what Doogs says, like with Shelley. Like, as long as the Atlas keep winning and Shelley's their top producer, he's going to be in the MVP frontrunner seat. Malone has such a harder job, in my opinion, because the whips just aren't that good, but he's really good. When it comes to Doogs' actual list, I don't know if Shelley did enough to get ahead of Sowers. I know that the Dogs lost, but Sowers was so good during that first half. And, like, if a couple of those missed shots, like, went in, too, and he had, like, 6 goals in the first half, we'd be talking different. But if and misses don't count. And then my only other thoughts are Pat, Cav, and Brennan. Can't really complain with them, although I've been saying that McNaney is the MVP. Hard to say after this past weekend. And then Matt Campbell. I'm kind of surprised. That was a interesting little what was it? Foreshadowing in the preview in 1A.
I changed it. I did.
He changed it to Entenmann.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm reading.
I did it. But
changed it to
Matt
Entenmann.
Campbell's my honorable mention because I just don't think his point production will. I wanted to give him credit, and I think I did so further in the show. I think Entenmann has the best chance right now of a goalie or a specialist to win the MVP.
You're right. And Entenmann was my preseason MVP pick. So the two guys that I have flags in the ground on are Entenmann and Malone. So yeah, it's tough for me to argue with Doogs' ranking this week. But long-term season, I still have stock in both of those guys.
I still think, to me, Sowers is still the MVP, but I think it's gotten closer because of what Kev just mentioned and Doogs. Like, it's usually the MVP goes to the best or most productive player on the best team. So, like, if the Water Dogs take a little more of a dip and the Atlas win the East straight up, like, I think Shelley's going to get it, yeah. But, if they're even or kind of the Water Dogs finish second in the East and Sowers has a couple more points, I think Sowers gets it. I personally think Sowers should get it. But I could totally see how Shelley could get it, and it's definitely closer than it's been at any point this year.
Look, he also just had 7 assists. Like, even probably by the odds, Shelley's probably the favorite at this point. I do want to firmly say that if the Dogs are like the 2 seed in the East, and there's only like a 1-game difference between the Atlas and the Water Dogs, or even a 2, like, I do think that Sowers, with tied, I want to say that the voters will lean Sowers
100%. I agree.
Because of the T factor in it, if it's close numbers.
What if it's close with... All right, take the Water Dogs and Sowers out of it for a second, Dukes. We're all talking about the Outlaws and the Atlas as the 2 best teams in the league right now. What about Shelley gives him the edge over Pat Cav? They're both like the leaders for MVP right now. Is it because... Pat Cavs is just split between
there's
more
so much
guys
wealth
who
to
are
go around,
really
Kev.
good,
I think,
and Shelley is really only splitting it with Teat, maybe Entenmann.
That's how I feel on it. I think there's just so much wealth to go around on that Outlaws offense that it's going to balance itself out the next couple weeks. Where
I don't think Pat cares either. I mean, like the Outlaws, the swagger that they play with it is so cool to watch. Like very much like a fun watch. The Redwoods are. For the beginning of the season, even now, like I mean, it's Friday night made me change my opinion a little bit. Like they were my favorite team to kind of watch. Over 3.5 wins, by the way, is on life support. Like for all the people that have been paying attention since week 2, where like we're all like lock that up, not locked up. I knew right away at All-Star break, I was like, wait, this isn't locked up.
We should not revisit anything we said about the Redwoods in the first 2 weeks.
We all drank the Kool-Aid.
I will say. I did not. Hogan was like championship. I was like, slow down.
Bro, 2-0 at the beginning of the year. The Redwoods hadn't won 2 games. Like, what they win? 3 games all last year? Everyone was hyped. The vibes were high. Chris Kavanaugh was flying. Spallina
still
was
is.
Like the Sopranos had that thing rolling. Everyone was fired
up. Feel like. How do you guys feel about this? I did a little thought experiment earlier today.
Oh, here we go.
And,
Dr. Kev.
Well, I just feel like because training camp is so short and you get so few practices with these guys, it's almost like the first couple of weeks of the season are still preseason. And like, did the season really start after the first 2 weeks? If you look at it, like the Outlaws are 5-0 since then. The Atlas are 4-1. The Cannons are 1-4. The Redwoods are 0-5. Everyone else is kind of in the middle. But like, do we feel like that's really when we found out who these teams are?
What was your theory, Dukes? You don't know who's good till week 4. What'd you say, Dukes? You've said that.
I don't know who's good till All-Star break.
All-Star break.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do think that I think that also it's kind of what I've been preaching with even the Archers. I still don't know what to fully think of the Archers because you have someone like Trey LeClaire who's coming back into this lineup. You don't really practice that much. You're still kind of working out this these ebbs and flows of the offense and the rhythm and how you play with each other. I mean, you guys haven't played together in almost a year, and you got Matt Moore out messing up with Sam King going from the midfield to the attack. So they're still working things out where I don't think they're completely out of it, but this goes back into you just not finding that comfortability. And even when I don't know who exactly, someone was pressing the alarm on the Outlaws, and I was like, slow down. They're gonna be fine. I mean, obviously, I could not see them picking up Jared Bernhardt. I did not have that on my bingo card. But it was exactly what
it's way too early.
It's way too early. You can't. And did you even hear on the broadcast? I'm not sure. I know Hoagie, me and you were at the games. Mitch, we don't know where you were, but on the broadcast, I heard at least that Pat Cav and Brennan, the win streak. Yeah, when I was at the game, I had the Steve Bartman on the radio call.
Dude, oh my God. Classic.
No, but Brennan and Pat have been roommates since the win streak started.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is.
I will say one thing. We're talking about when you want to talk about,
what? I was watching the game on my couch.
I thought you were making fun of me.
No. Because after the game, you mentioned, they're like, I don't think Pat Cav cares. And at first I was like, what? And then I thought about it. After the game, he had a post-game interview where he was like, this is the most fun team. We have so many stars, and no one cares who's the one who's scoring. So I kind of agree with what you said. I was not.
Also, the way they interacted with each other at the All-Star game, Mitch, I was there. You should come next year. They seemed like
if you guys
genuine.
are on live Mitchell Pehlke Lacrosse Show there, let us know.
Drop it. Which location should we go? Paul, let us pick. Montauk.
No, I will say an interesting point too to go the rest of the way with when we're talking about the first couple weeks of preseason and we don't know what team's going to show up. I think an interesting point. I think it's pretty solidified at this point, right? That the Outlaws are probably going to be the number 1 seed in the West. I think it's going to take a catastrophic collapse for them not to be. They're not going to play a game for a calendar month if they lock up the 1 seed, which is crazy. With obviously they don't practice all the time. They don't play in Boston for the last regular season weekend, so it's Salt Lake City. They have their homecoming in Denver, which means they have the bye week in Boston, so that's a week they don't play. Then there's a league-wide bye, that's 2 weeks. Then they wouldn't play the quarterfinal round, that's 3 weeks. And then it would be another whole week till they played again. So they'd have a full month off from their last game in Denver until they play in that PLL semifinal game. Which, in a league where we don't practice every day and the guys aren't, they're going to have to find a way, to me, to get together during those weeks. That's crazy.
I think they do. I want to say
but a month, we talked about it with the Whips last year.
I'm saying I think they do. I'm probably 95% positive that they go for the quarterfinals and then they don't play.
Yeah, no,
I know that they did that.
They do. I think they do, but more so just not playing a physical game for a month when you're on this hot streak. We assume they keep this thing going where they're sizzling hot. That's definitely something to look out moving forward. If I'm an Outlaws guy, do I not even want the 1 seed? I mean, I feel like there's no way they don't, but you want a month off?
I think everyone wants a 1 seed.
You want a month off?
James Hogan the 5th. This is what you do. You got to win one freaking lacrosse game. If Brennan O'Neill, Pat Cav, Jared Bernhardt, Logan Wisnowskis, Jonathan Donville, Logan McNaney, Mike Manley, Jesse Bernhardt can't win one lacrosse game.
Hey, Mitch.
Joey's got a point.
Mitch, you know how it goes. We're off this week. Oh, let's go. I'm going down to the Jersey Shore. Next week, my boys got an Airbnb in Charleston for the weekend. We're off. I'm going to go see them.
Boat trip in Miami.
Yeah, boat trip Miami. Oh,
yo, they should totally recreate that. The boat trip in Montauk would go so hard.
If they're all Surf Lodge. What if the Outlaws roll up to Dukes? The Outlaws roll up to Surf Lodge to get a photo.
Yeah.
I meet them at Common Ground.
If they lose round 1, I'm putting all their heads on the boat trip.
Guys.
There you go, Kev.
They 1 seed.
You don't even know what Common Ground is.
I'm not a Hamptons guy. I'm a Jersey Shore guy until I die.
Yeah,
me too.
Same. Don't forget about it. Buy or sell. I'm gonna get you guys going. Kev, I want to get you in the mix first. Are you buying or selling CJ Kirst starts at attack next week?
I don't know what the Water Dogs are going to do, but I thought they got better. Selling. I thought they got better looks.
Wow. What?
I thought they got better looks when he was playing midfield.
No.
I got to be honest.
Kevin.
No.
Yeah,
Come on
first
now.
quarter, he got better looks.
come on.
Absolutely. His best looks came in the first quarter. They was way more forced when he was at attack. Didn't do as well, in my
what do you
opinion.
got?
Played attack the second quarter, but he played alongside Sowers and McCardle. I would have liked to see, if we're going to start him at attack, I want him with Sowers and Taylor. Controversial. But Taylor's the one who got hurt the most by this. Season low touches, only 7 touches, only game without a goal. Taylor got hurt by this the most.
I'm buying this. I'm buying this so hard. He should have started an attack this past weekend. This is your generational player. This is your number 1 pick. I love Kieran McCardle, but at some point, he's going to have to be moved on, and the future of the Water Dogs offense is CJ Kirst and Michael Sowers. CJ Kirst has got to be playing his natural position. I'm sorry. He needs to be.
So you don't like the configuration that they were using then?
Yeah, I just think he's got to play attack. I know you got to work out the kinks. CJ Kirst, obviously, he's got new teammates for the first time in years. He just came off a hand surgery. So, yeah, I expected him to be a little rusty. But to me, he's got to be down in his natural position and figure it out and kind of let the kinks grow and let him work out playing in the league in his natural position rather than having him running out of the box. We talked about the Archers having their best players on the field for the least amount of time out of any team in the PLL. I want CJ Kirst every offensive possession on the field. I don't want to have to worry about running him on the box or so on and so forth. Him and Sowers are the future of that offense at attack. He's got to be on the field every play. He's got to be starting to attack starting this weekend against the Chaos. And he should have been starting to attack this past weekend at Fairfield.
Couldn't sell anything harder in my life. I'm selling this for like half a cent. When I say that, I love this Water Dog strategy of easing him into the game, getting him the first look, kind of doing that roll back, getting the look.
Never played top ball.
He's got to play attack. You got to throw him in the fires.
Never played top. That's a guy.
Mitch, what do you think? Mitch, what do you think? What do you think, Mitch?
I'm still going.
Attack.
Yeah.
Come on. Probably the best college season.
Come on.
Attack. You guys are like, keep
I was still going.
Guys, are you serious?
You're censoring Dukes.
Jesus. Let's go, Dukes.
No, it's good. You good? You go.
You said you're selling him playing at attack.
Yeah, because I'm going into this year. It's week 7. Your offense has been producing at like a league high level, and it's with Taylor, McCardle, and Sowers. Sowers and McCardle have been one of the best duos, if not the most, probably since 2022. I'd say the top duo in the league.
Yeah,
I off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else. And going off that is you're just mixing in CJ Kirst in the middle of the season. You're throwing him in there. Kevin's right. They generated better looks when he was at the midfield position. What it looked like at attack was awful. Don't mess with it this season. Go make a run with CJ coming out of the box. And then next season, reevaluate your options. If that is trading McCardle, if that's McCardle retiring. Like it is Sowers. But
Kirst has to start an attack next season. You're fighting
for a championship this year.
Bill Tierney next year. What move are you making?
No, who cares about next year? Of course he's playing attack next year.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I want to hear about that because Dukes just said that. What's the move you're making? If you're
mean, when we look at the Pat Cav situation with like last year when they tried to work out like Pat Cav out of the box, CJ Kirst is way more adaptable outside of the box than someone like Pat Cavanaugh.
Yes, I agree with that. But I also think if it's going to cause growing pains in the midfield or at attack, I'd rather have the growing pains happen at his natural position at attack, and then he morphs into being more comfortable at the end than having him play midfield. Personally, I think he's got to be down in his natural spot.
You're asking someone to build the chemistry with 3 weeks left in the season. You're not asking this to happen week 1 with Michael.
Yeah, but he's still not going to build the chemistry playing midfield either. Inserting him into the lineup at midfield or attack, either way, the minute you insert him, you're messing with the mojo offensively regardless.
Correct.
If I'm going to mess with the mojo, I'd rather have him at this natural position where he was the best college player of all time, playing attack, starting there, than messing with the mojo in the midfield. Come on now. What are we talking about? This is craziness. Mitch, this is craziness. I won't stand for this. CJ Kirst started attack. Crazy.
Hoagie, you have to also admit that's not what you're envisioning. What I said is a scenario that's probably not going to happen. You're envisioning starting an attack with Taylor at attack, right?
Yeah.
And McCardle running out of the box as a second line midfielder.
McCardle's the odd man out here.
That's not happening. It's not going to happen.
Well, then he's got to not. I mean, Kirst has got to play attack to me. He has to.
Gotcha. Well, I will say I like him at midfield. If he is going to stick at midfield, though, I need more Jack Hanna. Like, a lot more Jack Hanna. Like, Jack Hanna has been getting the long pole all year. Now you got CJ Kirst who's drawing him. Like, Jack Hanna should be unleashed. So
I think it's the easiest call
that's
of
what
all
I think
time.
about that.
I don't think. I mean, the water dog attackman also mostly dodge from up top. Like Sowers, a lot of his looks comes from that that top left.
Yeah, top
What
left.
you're looking at. Yeah,
The alley.
you're looking at.
Down the alley. All right, let's keep it going. Buy or sell. Hoagie and Doogs. I want you guys to fight this one out. Buy or sell. Fairfield or Chicago.
Look, two of the best in the sport. When I say the most successful for a long period of time, for like continuity, Fairfield shows out year in, year out. You know exactly what you're going to get. But then sometimes this young sensation, this kid out of Long Island that everyone's been talking about since he was
25.
From Garden City, New York. Yeah, but like this young gun comes up, you don't know what you got, and all of a sudden you're playing lacrosse right on Lake Michigan. You got this beautiful field, filling it up in the Midwest, a non-traditional hotbed, Mitchell. Chicago was better. I'm telling you, similar vibes to Fairfield in the sense like you really could feel the energy. The energy was similar. The stands were packed. I would love to see Northwestern open up the full stadium for the PLL next year. I'd love to see the types of numbers like that could generate. But when you talk about atmosphere, location, on the water, Chicago gets the edge from me. The number one PLL spot, but it has to be Northwestern's campus. I will say that.
Yes, it does.
It has to be Northwestern's campus. We got something with Fairfield's. Fairfield's is elite. And you know what? It pains me to say number two. It pains me to say number
Hoagie?
two.
Yeah, I'm buying Fairfield. And look, I haven't been to Chicago. I'd love to go to Chicago, so I can't really speak from being there in person, and it looked amazing on camera. I can only go from the experience that I've been, and, I'd love to get to Chicago hopefully next year to see it. But look, to me, when Duke said, sometimes you got that young rookie coming up, he makes a big play. Sometimes when you're so used to having greatness, Tom Brady and stuff, Patrick Mahomes comes in, you start drinking the Patrick Mahomes Kool-Aid, oh, this is great. And then you realize 5 years later, wait, Tom Brady's still the GOAT. Fairfield is still the GOAT PLL venue. Those fans showed out day one, day two, both sides of the stadium, on the field. I mean, Fairfield was the best PLL venue I have ever been to. It was unbelievable. It was electric. There was not an empty seat in that stadium for any of those games. Maybe at the end of the Chaos game when people left at 11 p.m. at night. But you're talking game one on Friday, and you're talking that 3 p.m. ABC game. There was not a literal seat in that stadium where you could stand. It was unbelievable. The crowd was there. The fans showed out. They were loud. They were proud. And it wasn't even a homecoming weekend, too, and they were dialed in. These guys... Fairfield was unbelievable. I'm 100% going to be back there next year. Great food spot, Colony Grill down the road. You got some great guys, Dan Orlovsky there, a lot of celebrities. You had Chris Kreider from the Rangers there. I mean, come on now. This place was bumping. Sometimes the new blood is great, but look, old reliable Fairfield shows out year after year.
Don't forget about it.
They're the GOATs for a reason, baby. Fairfield, number one location. I'm buying that thing to the moon.
Wow.
I'll put all the stock on there. All the Cash App money that we get for the PLL championship, that's going right to Fairfield.
Interesting.
That we get?
Kev. Yeah.
No, we don't get. But
we don't
you know what?
get anything. Kev, buying or selling? Who are you picking?
I don't know if I understood either of the analogies you guys made, but I'm going to buy Chicago just because you're going to see it coming up here with Utah, Salt Lake City this weekend, Denver the following weekend. The non-traditional hotbeds just absolutely love the PLL. That's where they do best.
Yes.
I know Fairfield has traditionally done well, but I think you got to give the Midwest a chance. Already have Northeast teams in the New York Atlas and the Philadelphia Water Dogs. Fairfield's kind of splitting that difference between those two hotbeds. So, unfortunately, I'm selling Fairfield and I'm buying Chicago.
One more note really quick on the Fairfield weekend that I do want to give them credit for is a bunch of the hotbeds I think suck. And it pisses me off. Long Island, I think, showed out for the semis last year. Some weekends, I think they got screwed in the past. Baltimore didn't show out this year because of the heat. I don't know what that's about. I thought Baltimore loved to cross. Like, all this stuff that the traditional hotbeds you expect out of. That's why Fairfield is so special because you get that Northeast, East Coast lacrosse energy that, like, I kind of grew up with coming into Fairfield. So, like, I don't... Hoagie, was that your first time there?
That was my first time, yeah.
Like, you can't really speak to the energy at Fairfield until you're there.
It's different.
I think I had a start bench cut actually.
I actually watched
in 2023 where it was like best places to watch a lacrosse game, and I had Rafferty at number 1.
No, honestly too. Like when you're watching the game on the TV, Dukes, you can probably test this too. It doesn't feel the same as if you're there when you watch the Fairfield venue. Like if I was watching on TV,
the grass,
you wouldn't see it and be like, "Oh, this is crazy." But like physically being in that building on the field, like it's a different level of PLL venue that I've at least ever been to. So
now going off that, I will say, because you were talking about the packed stands, Chicago had more people than Fairfield.
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
Chicago is probably a bigger stadium too.
Right.
Chicago had more seats.
I think that's something that the PLL haters would be sick about, was like the PLL wanted to sell more tickets the day of, and they physically were like, no, you cannot have any more people in here. So
Fire hazard.
Little note for the little note for the people that need context.
Yes.
Well, I'm picking Chicago. Just want to put that out there.
What?
Picking Chicago.
Why? Because you bailed on
Chicago.
Fairfield?
I don't know if I'd do that, Mitchell. Because you know what's coming for the machine. You want the Ohio Machine in Columbus.
Yeah.
The
Mitch
Machine
knows
are originally at Chicago.
Yeah, they're
It's
going to make him the
'cause Mitch
Chicago
knows.
Machine.
Oh, they're putting a city. They're putting a team in Ohio. Talk to Mike and Paul. Just stamp it, Corey. Don't forget the clip. Picking Chicago.
The frogs.
The boat lax. I like the boat lax. I like the street lax there. And Dukes, I'm big Twitter guys. You guys know I saw the tweets, saw the pictures. It looks great on the river. I don't know why we don't have a men's Final Four college at Northwestern. I know girls is being there. Charlottesville still like that play, but I don't think anything beats Northwestern in that water. So I'm going there. Last buy or sell. Dukes, I'm going to end it off with you.
Okay.
Buy or sell. Redwoods end up with the number 1 pick in 2026.
Yeah,
Sell.
Mitch, that's the last buy or sell. And then
Yeah, you already dogged that, Crave,
So
because of the score differential.
score differential. Why?
So it's going to be
Anybody else,
chaos,
Mitch?
you think?
Who do you think's going to get it?
I do think the chaos will actually have to end up with it. There's another team that might end up. Yeah, it actually would definitely be the chaos. Actually, 'cause
it
it's
would
score
be.
differential. Yeah,
It's going to be the chaos in the woods,
right. It's
barring
actually very
something
funny.
crazy.
Right.
Talk to
yeah.
the fans. Why is that so not out of the league for the chaos?
We spent about 5 minutes on that earlier, Mitch. So do you want me to
No,
explain
but
it
talk
to you
about
again?
the points of how far off the Redwoods are.
All right, Corey, can you play the clip from earlier?
Yeah.
Should I just replay it
What's
right
going
now?
on here?
Corey,
Mitch.
Corey, help me out
I'm
here.
saying-
California's score differential is 9, better than Carolina's, and that could be the difference between making the playoffs and having the first pick.
Tell the fans like how many points the chaos have
9.
versus the Redwoods, and it won't happen.
9.
Okay, there you go. I can't even see your guys' faces right now.
I'm
good
a Redwoods fan, and I love the Redwoods, and I think they're going to win another game this year. I don't think they're not going to win another game the rest of the year, but I have to buy this because to me, there's no
then you
way
look at this-
that the universe and God is not going to intervene here and put Joey Spallina on the California Redwoods with the number 1 pick next year. So to me,
if
I
the
have to buy
Redwoods-
it.
If the Redwoods end up with the pick, and for the record, I'm buying it. They're going to end up with it. You pick. If you're Joe Spallina, you pick Joey Spallina.
Joey's one.
And you look
Joey
at
and Chris Cav are the future of
Kev,
the
are you
Redwoods right
serious?
there.
Is that even a question,
Yeah,
Kevin?
yeah. There's no way.
I don't know.
There's no
I
way,
think it's
Mitch.
a no-
Fate of
that's
the
a no-win
universe.
situation.
There's no way that the Redwoods find a way to mess this up and have Joey go to the chaos.
Fate of the universe.
Come on. He is, as much as it pains me, the Redwoods, at this point, they're not good enough to win the PLL championship, so why are we even trying to get in the playoffs at this point? Let's buy it. Let's
Exactly.
get Joey on the Woods. Let's build
Let's
a
tank.
dynasty. And let's
I'm
have
Spallina. I'm talking to the boys, being like, hey, here are the numbers. Here's what we need to beat the chaos to be the worst team in the league.
I got to be honest,
Let's
it's not
do it.
even close to the right pick either. If you're
Why
the
not?
Woods.
Who do you
Like-
think?
Like,
Yeah,
I
like,
mean,
who are you
who are
looking
you
at?
starting over? You're gonna like Rodder's your lefty attackman. Joey's not a lefty.
Rob Pennell. He would replace, or not Rob Pennell.
Dylan Malloy, who's been playing in like
Malloy.
Oh,
he's been
I
playing
gotta keep Malloy
MVP.
in there. I need Malloy
Right, so
in
like
there.
there's no right answer to that. What's their biggest thing right now? I think it's the midfield depth, especially when you saw Merle go out, the short stick team, and you got a generational.
No,
short
you're
stick
not.
team
You
in
can't
this
take
category.
Aiden McGuire over
You ta-
Spallina. That is
I think-
craziness.
I think you either trade or you
Mitch,
get
that is
Aiden
craziness.
McGuire right there.
Dog.
Joe is not missing this opportunity to take Joey. I'm sorry.
I am
He's
the
not.
big-
He's
Do we
not. But I'm
do
saying
we-
it's
do
the
we
wrong
forget-
decision.
Do we forget the last names are the same? They're family. It's father and son.
No,
It's a no-win
Dude,
situation.
it's
for
your
him.
father's
I
birthday
just said
this Sunday.
he's gonna do it. He's
Mitch,
gonna do
Mitch,
it.
what do you got to say
He's gonna
about
do
the
it.
Italian
Not the right
culture?
decision.
The Italian culture,
It's the
family's a big
Italian
thing,
culture.
Mitch.
Family's everything. Do you know how many times Joey's got whipped with a wooden spoon? The mom's flip-flop? Dude.
I will say, the scariest possible situation of all time is they draft Joey Spallina, they have Chris Cav, and then free agency rolls around and Brennan's like, you know what? Like, Pat Cav's getting way too much credit for this Outlaw success. I'm going to go to the Redwoods. And then all of a sudden,
that attack
Team
line
91's back.
So sick.
and then you got McAdory. Just
that would be crazy. Team 91, the Team 91 crush team in the PLL. That is crazy.
I'll give him every credit in the book. I mean, Spallina's got a great strategy. Just get as many Long Island people as possible. Because we heard Dan Orlovsky on the broadcast this weekend being like, those Long Island cats are different. Mitch, watch out this weekend at the Shore. The Long Island cats, they're different.
It's in New Jersey cats. All right, I'm not even worried.
No, but the Long Island cats just take over.
Not even worried 1%. Let's chat quickly about next week's games. Friday with Archers versus Redwoods, 8 p.m. Hoagie and I will be watching that live at an establishment. Do you want to tell him, Hoagie?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great weekend. Obviously, Utah, they're going to be raising another banner. You know, they raised that banner last year. They're going to raise another championship banner at Salt Lake City. People say the atmosphere in Salt Lake City is awesome. Might have to do a live MPLS show there as well, Mitch. We might have to just go on tour with the league next year. But we'll see where that rolls.
Let us know. We're there.
Look, the Archers, you know, I talked to TK after the game. Those guys, legend TK. Shout out TK. Every game's a playoff game, and they've talked about that moving forward with just kind of where they are. This is a big weekend for them. They've got to split. They've got to at least get one. I'm debating just taking them in both games because I know they're going to get one, but I don't know which one they're going to get. But the Archers, to me, need this game big time Friday against the Redwoods. You got to beat a team like the Redwoods if you want to be the championship contender that they think they are.
Where are you watching the game? Mitch said you're watching the game somewhere.
I have some establishment, somewhere down there. I don't know. We get down.
You're just gonna find a place down. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you had plans.
We'll see together. We're friends.
Okay.
And then
so Mitch has to watch.
To me, my favorite game of the weekend is the Water Dogs Chaos game, to be honest. That's going to be a great game. I think the Chaos are going to come to play. I don't know what the Water Dogs are going to be after last week. I want to see how they respond. And then the Chaos are always stingy. They're going to look to clip you. That's a great game. I'm excited for all these games. And then at what point is this the weekend the Outlaws finally lose? Like, will they lose in the last game of the night against the Archers on Saturday Night Lacrosse? Will that happen? I don't know. But big weekend of lacrosse. To me, it's a lot of teams like the Atlas got to take care of business. If they lose that game, the Whips are all of a sudden at 4-4, and then their season slipped around. There's so much to look at.
I'm excited. Then we have the Whips Atlas later that night. Saturday, we keep it going with the Dogs and Chaos at 6:30, and the Archers versus the Outlaws. Potentially one of the biggest games of the weekend. That will be at 9 o'clock on Saturday. Hogan and I will be live. Probably doing a live MPLS minus the two squids at one of the establishments.
Yeah, well, we're doing a live MPLS at Parker House. We rented out the band section, so 9 o'clock we'll be in the back there.
So let us know.
9 o'clock's way past bitches' bedtime.
He's
gonna have the eye mask going, like the UV blue robot mask over his face, being like, "Please do not wake me up." The PLO guys are talking about box across again.
Those punks.
Mitch is gonna be. Mitch is gonna be have an ice pack on his bruise from Nesty, hacking him up during the one-on-ones.
Nesty squid. If I had a one-on-one with Nesty, I'm going right to his groin. I'm not even trying to score the goal. So I like it. All right, let's hop into the interview with Trevor Baptiste. And now we welcome Trevor Baptiste. Clap him in. This is a guy that does it all. Clapping himself, and look at that humble warrior right there. Let's dive right into the meat and potatoes. Atlas, 5-2, first in the East. How we overall feeling about this year?
We're feeling great. I mean, I think you said it. You know, being top of the conference, top of the league, it's a good feeling. I think we're in a really good spot.
100%. You know, I want to get into this a little bit real quick. How much has the league changed since year one? I feel like Hogan and I talk about it off camera a ton. You know, Rabel, you, a couple other stars in that first Atlas team were like, this is the team that's going to win it all. Didn't have the best year. But how much has the league changed since that first season?
Yeah, you know, it's changed a lot. That's a really great question. I like this. You know, it's been really cool to be a part of the whole progression of the league. I think that from a league standpoint, obviously they've done really cool things in terms of, you know, media rights deals and things like that, and seeing everything grow. But, talking specifically to the Atlas, like what a journey it's been. It's been awesome to be a part of, and I take that with the ebbs and the flows, right? Like there were some tough times. There were some times where we underachieved, and we're 6 years in or 7 years in, and we've had 3 coaching staffs. We've completely turned our roster around more than once, and it's been really cool to see a bunch of new guys come in and pay homage to the talented players that we had as well.
100%. You're obviously a chill guy. I think we know that. Pre-game wise, are you different, or are you still a chill guy? I feel like you're a pre-game speech guy. Are you?
I mean, I got to get the boys going. We got to get jacked up, Like we're going to battle, man. Like we got to get amped up. So no, I think that I want to give Tucker Durkin a shout out. Speaking on the lines of Atlas legend guy who was doing it for a while. We were actually roommates on the road too, our whole career together, and seeing him break the huddles down, week in and week out, bringing the juice. It's been really inspiring to see. Big shoes to fill, but he's given me a lot of great insight on, being on the other side of it and getting the team going.
100%. Bring us inside the league a little bit here real quick. Is there any sort of like face-off brotherhood across the league? Is there a group chat you guys are just talking with the Fogos? I gotta know. Is there any sort? We were just talking about the specialists before you hopped on.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of tight knit community with the face-off guys?
Yeah, I would say that I'm gonna speak for myself on this. I have mutual respect for all face-off guys, and I think that the face-off position is something else that has evolved over time. I think that at first, back in the day when I started facing off, it was like Kyle Harrison facing off, and I loved it. You're right, like it was the midfielder who did everything, right? And then it kind of took a shift, and the whole game became more specialized, right? So the face-off guy turned into the guy that was like, oh, he's not really good at anything else, so let's like throw him on the X, right? I think that was. I think a lot of us kind of feel that is like embarrassing, and I think that it's not a true representation of the position. I think it's a position of toughness, it's a position of tenacity. Every week you're going against the top 8 guys in the world, and you literally cannot hide, right? Like you can't like take a shift off, or you're having a bad day. Like you got to fight through it and put your team in the best position to win. So. As far as the position goes and everybody in the position in the league, I have so much mutual respect for everybody. There's guys that I think around the league, like there's guys that are closer with other guys than others, like you have more of a personal relationship, grew up playing in the same area or this or that. But, I do think that everyone carries a similar sentiment for sure.
I like that. I'll let Hoagie take away this next one. As a fellow Fogo, talking about the rule change in the shot clock.
Yeah, Trev, I think for me, like, first off, 2 questions I got for you. One, obviously, you in the Face-Off Academy with Greg, you guys have been doing it for so long. I was part of the FOA back in the day when I was playing. But how cool was it the first moment when you took that first game of your PLO career, a guy you looked up to as a mentor and as a coach, and now, working with him, you, Atlas Redwoods, game 1 of the PLO career, it's you versus Greg, first face-off of your career in the PLL. Walk us through that moment, kind of going against the guy that you looked up to your whole life to now, like, the guy who trained you and now, like, probably one of your best friends in the world.
Yeah, no, I was nervous, man. Like, to be honest, like, I was like, wow. And, kind of snapping back to that first year, like, they really, like, they put it on. They're like, this is legit. Like, we're stepping things up. We're on NBC at that point. And... I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm facing. They got to do this first game. You can't let me get my feet wet a little bit. So, but it was pretty cool. And I think leading into that year, me and Greg played on Team USA together. So in 2018, the summer going into that, we were teammates. So I think that obviously the respect for him and the respect for each other, I think goes a long way. So. It wasn't the first time that I actually faced off against him. It was in that type of moment and like head to head, not being on the same team, but I think at that point, we won a gold medal together. So it was like, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was more like
and going off that too, my favorite mic'd up moment of all time is that iconic mic'd up moment of you in Albany when you're talking to Ryan Boyle and you're like, hold on, I got to take this face off real quick. Win it out the front and just stick a goal. And then they're like, what happened there? And you're like, that's speed, boy. That is my favorite clip of all time. Can you walk us through that clip, that moment? Like, what was in your head when, as a face-off guy, like, you're on the mic'd up there and you nail the whistle perfectly, like, I'm going out the front. Were you like, I'm shooting this because of the clip? Like, break down that moment for us.
No, like, wasn't even, honestly, like, when I think that the in the helmet interviews they're really cool, but it's hard to hear, So like I was trying to I couldn't really hear what they were saying, and I think it was more of like a technical question. We were trying to chop it up and break it down. I was like, I gotta go. I have to go face off at this point. So here I go. It just so happened that there was a lane open, shoot a score. Like it just was like really perfect timing. Honestly, it just worked out. It just worked out that way. And I think earlier in the game too, like I shot a couple muffins too. So like I think my time was coming. My time was coming to get to the rack, and it just worked out. And I think too, like I was looking up at the camera. It ended up that I was like looking at the camera. But I was like, I saw Boyle like up in the stands. Like I'm trying to look at him. Like I'm looking at Boyle. I guess the camera was up there too. So it ended up being a really great clip.
I'll take this one. You talked about toughness at the face-off position. I ask every person that we interview this question. What was your welcome to the league moment? And I'm not saying like a tough face-off that you had to go and you're like, wow, these guys are really fast and skilled. I'm saying like, was there a play where you got hit or you laid a hit and you're like, wow, these are men. I'm not playing against the Providence Friars anymore.
Yeah. Great question. I would say, honestly, so my first year coming out of college, it was before the PLL started. So this was the MLL days. Got drafted to the Boston Cannons. And we played the Florida Launch, I believe. That was my first pro game. And I felt like that first game, like it went pretty well. I went against Ben Williams and it was a scrap, but I think I was mentally prepared. Like I knew, Ben Williams, a great face-off guy. I knew that they had a lot of great players on the team. Tucker Durker's on the other team. And Jules came in that game too. So like I was definitely prepared for the talent, but I remember Dupree came to the Face-Off X. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this game. He played for the Chrome for a season. Oh my gosh, man! He slashed me like it was. I've never been hit. I've never been slashed like that before in my life. And I was like, oh, that was my welcome to the league moment. And I remember we lined up. I was like, I don't know if he like really knows how to face off. Like he's a pole. I don't know. And that whistle blew, man. He brought that stick back. Oh, I could feel that. I still feel the slides. I would say in the MLL, like that was my welcome to the league moment. I was like, these guys aren't playing around.
Wow.
These guys aren't playing around.
Funny side story to that really quick is I was looking for like some PLL tweet this weekend, like maybe like an old take or whatever. And I like looked up like Premier Lacrosse and I see this 2018 vlog with like RJ and Gutty walking around the city, like right when the league's announced. And RJ asked this question. It's like, who's the scariest guy in the PLL? And his answer was Luke Dupree.
Yeah.
That was my family.
Yeah, that guy could. Yeah, he could. Yeah.
Do you have a scariest guy in the league? I mean, he doesn't have to be like now. Would it be Luke Dupree?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that was my welcome to the league moment.
Yeah,
like
exactly. I
that's
didn't know,
like I think line it up for a one-on-one ground ball. Like just face to face. He's got a full, he's got a full stance. Like, it was.
That's where you just let him pick it up, Trevor.
So back up.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say on that because we had Jules on last week or the week before, and we asked him the same question: how different is the MLL versus the PLL? Obviously, having a dip in the pond with the MLL, and obviously year 6-7 with the PLL. How different is it?
Yeah, it's a lot different, I would say. It's a lot different. I think that I think lacrosse has developed so much more. But I think that what was so cool when the PLL came forward was, it was we the players, right? So they came forward and I think that they really did a good job of saying like, this is gonna be a high level league. So like, you guys like be ready for the highest level. And I think a lot of guys took that personally, and I think a lot of guys up their game. I think you see guys like just putting more time in, practicing more, being more competitive to make a roster. There was less teams and less playing spots. So I would say from like a skill standpoint, it definitely raised the level. And then I think, I don't want to get into this too much, but it's so interesting. And I'm just going to talk in like my perspective, right? Like not getting outside of that. I loved playing pro lacrosse at all levels. And I'm so appreciative for the memories I had my rookie year in my team. But, the PLL has done such a great job of bringing eyes to the game, right? And I think that in the MLL, right, like you kind of had like not a great game. Like you're just kind of like, whatever, like nobody's really watching, or like it didn't really, they didn't even really like highlight the highlights.
It was Flow Sports.
Yeah, and I think that there's been some pressure that's come along with that I think a lot of players handle it in different ways, but I think that that's definitely real, when it comes to the league and it being at a higher level in prime time.
So yeah, we're probably a little bit of a part of that.
Yeah, you don't show up, Doogs will blast you on Monday night.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember 2018. I tried covering the MLL. I was like, I'm going to do this media thing. Like I like lacrosse growing up. Let me try the MLL. And I was like, oh wait, I can't. I was like, it's on lacrosse TV.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $30. I'm going to go buy beer at that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the MLL versus the PLL, all this stuff, and I have a pretty complicated question. We're talking about how good the PLL does things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everything's strategic, from the growth, from doing the tour model right now. But if you could change one thing about the PLL right now, you're just saying even like the helmet interviews, like maybe that was something you want to get rid of. What's one thing you change about the PLL right now? That could be an earlier season, ending before the football season, getting rid of RJ, getting rid of the podcasters. It could be one thing about the PLL that you could change right now.
Ooh.
What would it be?
You guys are probably on the spot here. I mean, I would love. I'm saying this in a vacuum, right? Like this is just like right. I would love if there was more teams and it would get to a home and away schedule, right? And I know that there's like a lot of barriers and things to that. Nothing on anybody, but I think it's really cool when you can show up and you're like, this is our home field. I think that's just a great thing about sport, right? So I would love for that to be the case, and I think we're going that way,
And I want to go off that really, really quick, but the Atlas home game that you guys had last year in the semifinals on Long Island, I remember we talked about that game a lot, just the intensity in the stadium. Did you guys feel like that was a home game?
Yeah, like it felt like, right? Yeah, it felt like, and I think to that point, like you see it more. Like I think that, right. Now that time is going on, that they designate teams as cities, like you feel it more. Like you feel like it's not just the signage and things like that. Like you feel like, there's fans there that are cheering on your team. And it was really cool back to like the semifinal that it really felt like, New York is here, and New York wants us to win. And I think with sport, like, when we talk about the storyline, it boils down to us versus them, right? Them versus us. And I think that when you're playing in your city, like it just heightens that, and it makes it really, really, really cool. It makes it really cool. Well, you're on both sides too. I'll say as an athlete, like on both sides. Like I like going into a away spot, and it's like, everybody here hates us, and probably me too. Like maybe they're saying some personal stuff. Like, I like it. I like it. Like it's just part of the game.
Trev, it's funny we're asking you, a face-off guy, about changes because I feel like that's a triggering word for face-off guys. Like an attackman or a goalie or defenseman doesn't have to worry about like the rules of the game changing every couple of years. You're in a unique spot, and you as a specialist who commands the face-off X. Like, how do you, one, stay on top of the changes? Like, how do you change your technique? And two, like the big one, the 32-second shot clock in 2023. When like teams were losing faceoffs on purpose and stuff. Like, take me back to that year and how you feel like the rule has kind of progressed since then.
Yeah. No, it's been a whirlwind. I think faceoffs, like it's like, I can't. It's hard for me to keep up. To your point, like now they're doing it. They're doing different college. Pros different than college. All these things. I think. I'm going to talk back row to your question. Like, I think the face-off always gets a lot of heat, man. Like, I think that, I don't know if it's because it's like one part of the game that like starts it. So it's like everyone's really like hyper-focused rather than, there's only 3 people really going at it at a time and things like that. But, I sit in the camp of like, the face-off, you don't score a goal when you win a face-off, So it's like if you win a ton of face-offs, like your team has the opportunity to make a stop. So it's like if you're not getting it done at the face-off, then you got to make a stop, and that's part of your game plan. I think that throughout recently, I would say decade, 2 decades. The face-off really gets pointed at is like, oh, like this is the reason, and like this is the reason. And I think there's so many reasons that go into a team winning a game or a team losing the game. I think face-offs help, right? And I think not winning face-offs could hurt. I think that, to your point of keeping up with it, you just got to be a steward of the game. Like you just got to keep learning. I think that I think with everything, like it shows that, what maybe was working for you in one era of the game, you got to be able to evolve and adapt and like bring your strengths in a different way. See where those strengths are, see where you can capitalize in that rule set. And I think that, back to the point of like the mutual respect of the face-off guys, like I think that's something that we've all had to do at a very high level, which I think it's not easy. It's not easy.
And not all rule changes are bad. You mentioned your welcome to the league moment. I feel like you got hit so hard with the 32-second rule change, and then the next year they come with like, all right, no long pulls at the face-off. It's like, all right, we're even.
Yeah. I think a lot of us were taking. Dupree was out of the league by that point. Good thing, because like, we were taking. We were wearing it. We were wearing it, man.
I saw like Hasek taking face-offs that one year in 2023. He's just like stands up, knocks the guy over.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that was lawless.
It was lawless. It was lawless.
As a fan, it was like nobody knew what to do too. You could tell in real time. They're like I remember All-Star break just being like, yeah, this has got to change. Something's
getting hacked up by Graham Hasek has to be one of the worst feelings in the world.
Yeah.
Oh
and I feel like going off that, like, do Focos talk shit to each other?
I feel like,
or in that lawless era, were you guys talking more trash?
I feel like some guys like to, I think it's like to each his own. I think, back then, half the teams weren't even dressing a face-off guy, so it was polls.
That's crazy.
So, it was a lot of conceding. It was a lot of conceding when that rule came out to start, and it's not a bad game plan. It's not a bad game plan. Like, if you can get a team to, run backwards or not get into the offensive zone for 10 seconds, you got to play defense for 22 seconds with all your personnel on, and you're betting on the fact that the other team's got a sub. It's not a bad game plan. So I get it, and especially with the pole. I think with the shorty, it's easier for guys to run past. It's harder to cover. So I think it made it a little bit more even, but I think it's going to keep evolving.
We're talking about we're talking about you with going up against face-off guys like TD, obviously, Nardella, some of the best guys in the league. I want to know who's the most underrated guy or some guy that you've had success against pretty much everybody, but who's one face-off guy that you think is very underrated, deserves a shout out, or that you kind of had trouble against?
Currently in the league right now, or ever?
Nah, go all time. It could be some guy from high school that's going to be listening to this. We'll put the clip out, and he'll be like,
or some college guy. Yeah, someone from college, anyone.
Okay. I got Will Garral, Brown faceoff guy. Played for the Florida Launch for a little bit. Don't think he made his way to the PLL. That guy's got game. He's got game. Okay. He's got game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Jules. Was Jules talking about him when we had him on? I think he might have.
I don't think he was talking about a face-off guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
No way.
Yeah, I got Will Garral.
We were talking about Brown for like.
Yeah,
we were talking about Brown. That got scary.
Brown. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy had game. Yeah. He was good.
Trev, for you, this is one I've always been pretty interested in. You see from the TV standpoint, Bill Tierney, just that mug on his face looks like a scary cat. We've heard Pressler's also a scary cat. Who's more frightening, Bill Tierney or Mike Pressler?
I mean, you might be asking the wrong guy. I mean, they're both like, I think I have such a great relationship with both of them, so I don't really look at them as scary. Intense, yes. They demand a lot. I think that Coach T, having him through college, I think being a college coach and a pro coach is different, and I think, obviously Coach T isn't our pro coach, but, I could see him coaching in the pros compared to when he coached in college. And, I know that he's changed a little bit, but, he's always going to be himself. And I think that at the end of the day, I think it's passion, and I think it's the will to win. And I think both those guys have it. I remember at college, like there's a couple times with Coach T that, just the intensity that he brought, like at all times. And especially, when in 2015 to 18, when I was at Denver, like we won in 15, he didn't really have a lot to prove, right? Like he's done it so at such a high level. He's won so many national championships. They've had so successful team over successful team, one with all of his sons. Like he's done it so at such a high level and continues to do it, but that intensity never goes away. It's never there's no complacency in him, and I think that travels through the team. I think it travels through the team.
You think that Mitch could get Coach T to hit the frog by the end of the season?
Oh, for sure.
We have a bet on the line about that.
He said for sure.
We have a bet on the line for Coach Mitch has to get.
That's what I'm saying.
Dukes, how much money's on the line for Coach T to hit a frog?
$100.
$100.
Yeah. Also, Trevor, I want to get your thoughts. There's a bet out there. The money's going to charity because we're nice guys. Jared Newman, left hand, shooting over 100. Or Mitch Pehlke with his dominant right-hand slinger shooting over 100. Who you got?
Are you shooting with a pole? Are you shooting short?
I'm shooting with my short. He's shooting with a pole.
So it's whoever shoots over 100, not whoever shoots it faster.
It's just fastest shot. I don't know.
Fastest shot?
Sorry,
Yeah.
fastest shot.
I think you got to shoot the ball hard. I think you can. I think you can. I also don't think Jared shoots the ball lefty bunch, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't think he has to.
I
think when you shoot 120 miles per hour, I don't think you have to.
Also, you can't forget, no defender is coming down Main Street, switching hands, shooting that thing. It's a righty or he's passing that thing.
Yeah.
I would love his lefty shot's going to feel so unorthodox. And look,
are you trying to
shoots at 113 lefty?
Are you trying to queue up a competition right now?
Oh God, what's this?
Oh Lord!
Is this me? Oh my gosh!
Trev, this is me versus you back when I was in middle school.
Yo!
Jerry Raganese straw days.
I remember this.
Put that on full screen. Get that out there.
Oh my gosh!
Trev, you remember those fields that Jerry used to run those draw days back in the day?
Yeah, that's in Berkeley Heights, probably.
Yeah, he
Berkeley
smoked
Heights.
me. That was right after Trev's electric freshman year, national champs. I was in 7th grade.
Wow.
There was definitely 10% of Hoagie that was like, I could do it.
No. Trev, I don't know if you remember this, but after that draw day, you showed up and like every single middle school kid tried to take a face off with you. You were probably like, dude, like I'm just trying to get home.
Yeah.
Like every single kid was like, yo, let me get one.
Yeah. No, it's so funny too. In those situations, it's such a lose-lose. Like it's like middle schoolers coming up. It's like, yeah, like I'll take a face off. but it's like if I win, like it's kind of like, oh, like why'd you try so hard? And then if you lose, it's like they're just gonna like have their friend record it and then like spam you on it. So it's a lose-lose.
It's like the kid who mossed Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Don't want to be there.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose.
That's coming for. That's when you know lacrosse made it.
Yeah.
We'll all hang our hats and be like, oh, that's viral.
Yeah.
Trevor got beat by 6.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's like, dude.
Right.
It's like, no, I didn't. I let him win.
Yeah.
I apologize ahead of time for posting.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's awesome.
Trevor gets mad in the comments, being like, no, I let him win.
Yeah.
My last question, Trev, is obviously you guys do this tour-based model, which, you know, as someone that goes to the weekends, I enjoy it. I mean, I know it's different when you go to every single weekend during the summer, but one location that you've been to that you think deserves a team, and then I'll ask the other question after this.
Can I give you 2?
Shoot him.
Yeah, you
Give
can.
us
I'm a
2.
nice guy.
Chicago.
It's Monday. You're doing
Chicago.
It. Yep.
Chicago was lit the other weekend. And Minnesota. I go Minnesota. Yes.
Sneaky.
Yes. They always a great environment. A lot of people show out. Great fans. Minnesota.
Now, Paul and Mike sit you down. We get them on the Mitchell Pehlke Lacrosse Show. We're at Red Bull Arena after the championship. Trevor just wins MVP, and we look at Mike and Paul, and we're like, Mike, Paul, since Trevor just won PLL championship MVP, he gets to pick one tour weekend next year, and you get to pick one location that you guys have never been to. What's that location?
Ooh.
Wow, I love that.
It could be
idea.
literally anywhere.
In the world?
Nah, let's do it. It's already hard enough to get the Canadians here by week 1.
Trevor's like, I'm going to Disney World.
Ooh, you know, so what I'm thinking about here is I'm thinking about, you know, environment, you know, not only, you know, great scene, like great city to be in, but also are people going to come out and are people going to get loud? I would say, I don't know if this is the case. I would say like Miami.
I like that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Well, that's a good pick. I actually
That'd be
like
nice.
Do you think there's any chance that we could see PLL abroad, like PLL in London, PLL Dublin,
I think so.
or somewhere in Europe?
Yeah.
Japan. They already go every
We're
year.
already doing Japan.
Well, I mean like a
You mean like an actual weekend in the regular season?
week 3, right after, or All-Star game.
Week 3 is in London, yeah.
Like All-Star game in London would be sick. I've always thought that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we just got to try it. We just got to try it and see what happens. No,
I got TLN here. I'm like, let's get this clip out.
yeah. No, I think so, and I think especially like with lacrosse coming into the Olympics, I think that I think there's definitely more of a pipeline for that, more so now than any other time. So yeah, no, I think that could be. I think that could happen.
Dukes just said it
Now
live
that
here.
I think about it, I think Tokyo is
Trevor.
like 2027 All-Star game.
It's
Grow the game a little bit.
the
more.
World Games are in 2027 they're in Japan.
In Japan, yeah.
So
guys,
We
MPLS
have
in
a perfect.
Japan.
Guys, MPLS live in Tokyo for the 2027 PLL All-Star game. Book it. We'll have
Mark your
Trevor. We got a
calendars.
seat for you. We got a seat for you after the game.
let's go.
Trev, last question, and we'll let you go. You're a guy that I think is special, where you can do it on the field at the highest level, going to go down as an absolute legend on the field, but a guy that knows how to speak really in a charismatic way, in a content way on social media. A guy that can kind of do both. There's not a lot of guys out there that can do it on the field and truthfully from a social media standpoint as well. Do you see yourself doing something in the lacrosse social media world after you're done playing?
I think I could. I think I could see myself doing that for sure. You know, I think staying inside the lacrosse community is something that I'm always going to want to do, because I think that you know, the community's done so much for me, and I appreciate all the relationships and people and the game, right? Like I want to stay within the game as much as I can. So yeah, to answer your question, like, you know, if that's like from a media standpoint or anything, I think that's definitely something that I would like to do. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, if it brings more eyes to the game, like I'm in, you know, however I can best help while, you know, keeping the play first right now as I'm a player, you know, I'd love to do that.
Trev, you called a PLL Juniors Championship, did you not? Last
year,
the year before?
Yeah,
you crushed it, bro. You should do more of that.
I appreciate that. I'm definitely getting my foot in the public speaking door. I actually officiated a wedding this past weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This guy can do it all.
You want to talk about a rush, man. Oh, my gosh. Like, I think that was the most, like, talking in front of people, the most nervous I've ever been, ever. And, like, I was shaking up there. And I think that, I think for me, it was like, like, you do stuff on camera, right? Like, if you mess up, you do another take, right? It's like, oh, like, you mess up, you do another take. Or, like, oh, like, if I mess up, like, I look dumb, right? And that's okay. Like, that's fine. But, like, if I mess up this is a big moment for somebody else. Like, I cannot mess this up. And I can't retake it. But it went really well. So I'll wear this T-shirt, Pat, by Trader. We'll give him a shout out. Him and Cindy just got married this weekend. So
hey,
awesome.
congrats.
All right.
Yeah. I like that. That's awesome. Well, Trev, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Trev.
Yeah.
Here we go. Start bench cut. Woo! Also, we got ball nowhere after this. Stay tuned. Pehlke's getting his first win. Start bench cut. Fantastic finishes. Start bench cut, Dukes. I'm starting out with you. Between the legs, around the world, behind the back. What are you doing?
I think I'm going. Okay. Can I specify?
See, it's just
the
like,
Matt.
what?
Just let me just. Why do you do this? You freaking Italian. You're just
'Cause
so
I just, like,
emotional.
it's-
You're
it's
so
making me
emotional
so
and dramatic.
confused. Let's go.
You're so emotional
Say
and
it.
dramatic.
Say it.
I think the BTB, like the Matt Trainer BTB, is the coolest shot that you could potentially do. Just stinging that on the run, top corner, is cooler than any other possible variation of it around the world or through the legs. That's the coolest shot in lacrosse. Just so clean.
Mitchell Pehlke's frogging right now, frozen.
We got a bench and cut out of you, Richard. Let's go. Finish it.
Yeah, are you cutting the others or?
Next.
I'm cutting around the world. I'll tell you what,
Dude.
Oh, here we go.
Get the mannequin.
Freaking Italian.
Get
Dude,
the mannequin.
This is
Mama,
anti-Italian
okay?
discrimination.
I'm starting around the world. How sick is it around the world?
Not
when do
cool,
we
I
see
just
it? Not that
not
much.
cool,
That's
I
why
just cut it.
Should be starting. It should be starting. We are benching behind the back. When I think of behind the back, I think of Gary Gate in 1980 throwing a behind the back pass. I think it was actually Paul Gate, behind the back pass, like 30 yards to a behind the back goal on the crease. And I'm cutting between the legs. Like, Brennan O'Neill's was sick because he was obviously like turned around a little bit. It was still probably the best goal maybe of the league. But I'm still cutting between the legs. I just don't think it's that intense, that serious. Hoagie, what do you got?
I'm with you, Mitch. I'm starting around the world here. The around the world goal, when you think of the around the world goal, you want to know the most famous around the world goal of all time? Westburg Championship Weekend, Denver, around the world on that stage. Oh, my goodness gracious. Chef's kiss. Around the world, easy start. Come on now. I'm benching between the legs. Between the legs, the skill level it takes for that. The goal Brennan O'Neill saw was literally one of the best goals I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. And I'm cutting the behind the back. I love the behind the back, but there's some easy behind the back finishes. There's never an easy between the leg finish. That's more skill than behind the back. Obviously, the best of the best behind the backs, I think, can compete or can go ahead of a between the leg. But if we're just talking an average between the leg versus an average BTB, between the leg clears, start around the world, bench between the legs, cut behind the back.
Kevin?
All right. I'm starting behind the back. It's classic. Everyone understands it. It's been around for forever, as Mitch mentions. But it's also a functional play. Sometimes it's a smart play. Right. And the other two are kind of flashy. And you could argue maybe even showboating.
Stop.
I would say behind the back, you got to start because not because of the difficulty level to do it. Yeah, before you were born.
Yeah, you probably have Mitch also like dyes the hair blonde, like doing around the world in the backyard.
This is a time. I grew up in a time. If I tried it between the legs or around the world, I would have got cut from the team, let alone cut from the start bench cut. I'm gonna go between the legs as my bench because I do feel like there is a time when it does make sense and it is pretty cool and weird. Around the world to me is the least functional of these shots. It's cool when it happens, but it's really more indicative of having your stick in the wrong hand on the wrong spot on the field.
like
that
that.
is the
Technical,
only
Kev.
time it makes sense
Coach
to
Kev,
shoot
I like
around the
that.
world.
Technical.
Also, I will say, go do me a favor and go watch Joey Spalina's one-handed around the world, and that could change your opinion on the around the world. It was the coolest box across.
That Westberg around the world, that is so iconic.
Final four. Sending his team to
All right, do you want me- I know you're
schlepping. His first W. Corey, what do we got?
Can I pull it up for you guys?
Okay,
Are you talking about
Doogs
the
is going on
Spalina
Twitter
thing?
again, Mitch. Getting to the
Here
answer.
we go.
Please
Here
don't.
we go. He's on Twitter right now. He's fast typing. He's got AI open.
We're supposed to
I
pretend
just
maybe
learned how to
Super
share
Cross
screen.
doesn't
I'm so
exist.
fired up. I know I'm getting this. I'm so locked in.
All right, Connor Schellenberger had 7 assists on Friday night. Who is the only player to dish 7 assists in a game twice?
Sowers.
Jeff Teat.
Nope.
Josh Byrne.
Nope.
Matt Rainbow.
Nope.
Grant Ament.
Nope.
Sowers. You said midi or offensive player?
Is it MLL
Anyone?
too?
The
Rob
only-
Pennell.
No, the only
Schreiber.
bingo. Bingo. Tom Schreiber.
You guys suck. God. You guys all suck.
You gotta love
How
it.
do you guys not know that?
Mitch didn't know it. He was just naming star players.
Replay. Kevin, I asked, is it attack or midfield? And Kevin goes, you're a sick individual. God, that's why I asked the question.
I mean, midfield would have been the biggest dead giveaway of all time.
The only hint was going to be 2015, 2016.
Gosh, when he's playing on Ohio.
Wow.
Gosh.
Pelke's on the
What's
board.
the rankings
Pelke-
now? Am I in first
Wow.
place?
No, you're not. You're tied with me for
You're
last.
last place
No.
with your half point.
I have a
We
full
shouldn't even
point.
count that.
Yes, I have a point.
I'm gonna have to talk to Keegs about these MLL ball knowers. Who was keeping the stats back then? You know?
Kev, you should be the one that knows this.
I know, right?
Dukes, what do you got to say? Sorry. What's the rankings right now? Am I first yet?
Mitch, you just moved into third, a half point above Hoagie.
Wow.
Oh, that's sad.
Hoagie.
That's-
What?
that's
Do I not
sad.
get my full point?
Kev is still.
No, it's a half point.
Kev
I thought I got my full point.
No,
it
you
doesn't
got a
count.
half.
You got a half.
Kev's in
fine.
first. Dukes is a half point behind
All
him.
right, it's fine. It's fine. I got a bunch of
Kev, what
time.
do you have? 2?
I think I have 3, maybe 3.5, something like that.
God, Dukes, anything for me? You happy for me?
This is the happiest
I
Mitch
hate,
has been.
I'm
in
not
his
kidding. I'm not kidding. I think I hate Italians because of you. I don't think I'll ever look at Italian the same.